What's up, everybody? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show. I'm here with my man Christopher Burke,
People's Podcaster.
and I'm here with Alora Presley from Peaches and Power Bombs. And we are in the house to talk about the incredible. Now, when I first started watching wrestling, it was the incredible Hulk Hogan. So we will be talking about Hulk Hogan, and we will speak a little bit about Malcom Jamal Warner. We'll talk about Ozzy and somebody else that Laura probably never heard of, and that's Georgie Mangione. That's a great jazz
Jazz.
player today who just passed away. But yeah, we will speak on them. But basically, this is going to be a wrestling podcast. We are talking about the. I ain't gonna call him immortal, which he was calling himself at one time, the immortal Hulk Hogan. But we're gonna talk about the icon, man, the icon of wrestling. Remember he used to say that, Chris? I'm the only icon, the only icon in wrestling. So we will be talking about the icon Hulk Hogan. And I'm gonna start out with Chris. Well, actually, I'm gonna start out with let Alora Presley start out. I mean, I know she didn't see Hogan. She did not get to see much of his career like me and Chris did. I definitely saw him from the beginning because when he first came on the scene, I was a preteen. And Chris, when Chris first seen him, I think Chris was like 8 years old. But Laura, we're gonna go ahead and start off with you, and you could tell us what was your experience like and what you thought about when you first saw Hulk Hogan.
Well, Hogan was a household name.
Yes.
So it was kind of like everybody knew about him.
Right.
You could. I think my first memories of him wasn't so much wrestling, but when I would be at my aunt and uncle's house, my uncle's mom, we called her Nanny. She loved Thunder in Paradise. And so I remember seeing him on there and just seeing him in commercials and stuff. So I kind of knew who he was. And then I started watching in '95, and so that's when they were going through the new generation. You had your Bret Harts, your Shawn Michaels. They were bringing a whole new era of guys in because Hogan jumped ship. But the first thing my brother and I did was we would go back and watch previous stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like I knew of his stuff. I like WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, all of that. I knew all of that. Watched all of that. I remember I was so excited watching WrestleMania 9 when he got the title from Yokozuna. Like I didn't know better. I didn't know better.
Right.
It's okay. but and then of course with his heel turn at Bash at the Beach, that was huge.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yes, and then that was so huge. Like I explained to my nephew, like I was like, I said we had internet, but we didn't have dirt sheets to tip us off. We had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, no.
And I still say that's the greatest heel turn of all time because we didn't have nothing tipping us off. We literally had no idea. But the thing with Hogan that I gathered when I first started watching, I got it. I seen why he was the way he was, the way people received him. He was big and strong, and he supported his country, and he was charismatic. I mean, that's something everybody wants in a hero. And then the whole bad guy thing, that's when everybody started to say it was cool to like bad guys in wrestling.
Right.
And of all the great things he did, because he did insurmountable contributions that he made to pro wrestling in general. If it wasn't for him, how many of us would be wrestling fans? That's the one thing that I ask people.
Exactly.
However, his personal life was his downfall.
Right.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. I really wasn't a huge fan of Hogan. I respected what he did, but I wasn't a huge fan. So like when all that happened with the tape and the comments and stuff, my chagrin turned into disappointment. I was kind of like, that's,
Right.
I feel like his legacy is marred by that. If you've looked on social media all over, everybody's had a thing to say. There's people that were extremely emotional,
Oh yes.
all of it's valid. All of it is valid.
Yeah.
So, it's just, it's a great loss, but I wish it was on better terms, but it is what it is. I mean, either way you look at it, the one thing everybody, while people feel different about him, the one thing everybody agrees on is, I mean, he put pro wrestling on the map. Pro wrestling is in the mainstream like it is, and it started with Hulk Hogan. Nobody can deny that. So.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, Chris. Before I'm gonna let you get into it, I'm gonna go ahead and say a few things about that. And I see what a lot of people are going into. They are,
Yeah, I would like to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, there's
for
a lot
sure.
of people that's basically talking about the certain things that happen. Like I used to love Hulk Hogan, and then later on he came up the racist statements. So and then you have some younger people that didn't know about all that. They just knew about the legacy of Hulk Hogan, and they liked the legacy of it, and said, I liked him. There's a lot of people on X said I liked him until I went back and I started reading all the comments and the things that he done said in the past, and they have made their decision from that. And had some people say F Hulk Hogan and everything, but the bottom line is what we're here to do. We're here to talk about his legendary status in the business and what he did in the business. And the way I look at it, me and Chris, we talked about this a little bit earlier. The way I look at it is, and I'm gonna add this, which I didn't say to Chris. If I don't know you, which I don't know him personally, and so I can't judge him on that. And all I can see is what he did in the ring and what he did for this business. This business still wouldn't be. This business would not be what it is today, as far as because it's all about entertainment. Wrestling is entertainment. Because before Hogan, it was wrestling. When Hogan first came in, it was wrestling. It was the wrestling business, and you liked wrestling for the impact of wrestling. There was still entertainment in it, but not
as much.
Not on the level of what Hogan was able, Vince McMahon was able to do when he brought Hulk Hogan into that, up into the World Wrestling Federation, and they changed the whole game. But
if I might add right quick, when with the disappointment and people finding that out about him and everything, he was like everybody's hero, and I think a lot of fans, I think a lot of fans were jaded by that.
That's true.
And that's completely understandable. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. What some people still being respectful of what they're saying. But it's as far as I can understand people's feelings, my thing is this: as a Christian, I say anybody don't speak ill of the dead, but it's a lot of people are. That's just the way the ball bounces, and I'm pretty sure Hogan, before he passed away, he knew that there was going to be some people that come out at him like that. But one thing that I want to say, like I said before, is we're going to talk about what he did in the ring, and some people hate him because of his politics too. So,
for sure, that didn't help.
We're not going to hate on him for, because somebody think he's, because they're looking at him as a racist or politics. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about him in the ring, and I respect everything that he was able to do as far as in this business, for this business. He
at the end of the day, we didn't personally know him, so
exactly.
He left a lasting impact, and like me and Chris said, when you see, the circumstances that led to the words that came out of his mouth, we wasn't there. We don't know exactly why a lot of that stuff did happen, but I have an idea. But there's a lot of there's a lot of black wrestlers out there,
and there's a lot of what ifs
who have defended him way before this actually happened. I mean, right after this happened. So I'm just gonna go with them because they these wrestlers, me and Chris, we in the business, we're around these wrestlers. We know they hang around each other. They're thick as thieves, and those guys roll with Hulk Hogan. So I'm gonna listen to them before I go with somebody who's just coming off the cuff and saying,
Right.
okay, just calling him calling him a racist. But go ahead, Christopher Burton. I want you let us know what you think about Hulk Hogan and tell us, because that was the first guy that really struck your eye. The first time you watched wrestling, Hulk Hogan won the World Heavyweight Championship from the Iron Sheik. But
that was it, man.
Comments, man.
Sheiky baby.
Yeah, man, Sheiky baby.
Let's get some comments, Chris.
Okay, we'll get some comments before I get going here, because I'll be here all day talking about my man Hogan. But first in the room, man, got Alma Clark saying, Harry and Christopher, how y'all doing this evening? B90, rest in peace, brother. Till my number is called. Oh yeah, definitely.
Amen.
Next in the building, we got Lucas in the building. Says, howdy, folks. What's going on, Lucas?
What's going on, Lucas? How you doing?
Lucas also says, link later on. Am I right?
Maybe Lucas. That's all I can really say. Later, maybe Lucas tonight. All right.
Alma's in the building says, what's up, Laura? How you doing this evening? B90.
Hey, Alma, I'm doing okay for the most part. It's kind of good to podcast again.
And we appreciate the other half of Peaches and Power Bombs, our beautiful guest, Laura Presley, in the house with us.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate her presence being with us because she make us both look good. So
exactly.
All right. All right, Lucas says, I'm gonna go back live streaming tomorrow. Okay, Lucas. All right, Chris, go ahead and get them from here.
All right. Raymond Underwood says, we lost a GOAT. Yes, we did, man. Yes, we did. One of the greats.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
Yeah, you can't. Hey, as Enzo Amore says, you can't teach that, and you can't replace that either.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Lucas says, can you read our comments? Well, we're getting to it right now.
All right, Chris Dog is going also. Let me go ahead and see these comments. Lucas says she has a lot to say. Yes, she does, and we like that. And hey, and her partner does too. There's no doubt about that. And Lucas always calling her the girl. Hey, Lucas is 12 years old. He always calling her the girl. That girl's on here again. All right. Mag says, greetings, Chris and Harry and Alora. Sad day in the world of wrestling. Yes, it is, Magnum. Yes, sir. There's no doubt about that. And like I said, don't matter what you feel about him personally, but, hey, it's a sad day. And if it wasn't a sad day, everybody wouldn't be talking about it, because everybody, this right here, have struck a chord with everybody. The whole nation is talking about it. It's what the whole world is talking about.
Oh, yeah. He was a household name.
Yeah, exactly. And wrestling we really don't have that in wrestling as far as, the modern day wrestling. We don't have that, and that's what we need. We need people like a Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. Those are the five we named, Chris.
Hogan, Cena, The Rock,
and one other one we named. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold. Those guys, man, you can something happen to any of those guys. Hey, everybody's.
Oh my God! Yeah,
that's a once in a lifetime crew right there, man.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a guy on my Facebook earlier. He was like, I grew up watching this guy for 40 years, and it's almost like family. And really and truly, when you think about it, and I know for y'all, it hits different. Like for me, we've seen these guys numerous times in different states.
Yeah.
And so it hits different when something happens to them. And I know for Bray Wyatt, it hit me really hard because, I was going through a growing time in my life. And I went to a lot of wrestling shows at that time, and he was one of the mainstays during that time. And
a lot of people, it hit a lot of people with Bray, Bray. And plus, him being nephew of the Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Windham, son-in-law, Mike Rotundo's son. A lot of people knew him. A lot of people that watched wrestling from back in the day who did not, was calling me, who does not watch wrestling, and they knew about Bray Wyatt. They knew about it, because they knew he was, who he was, the family.
And they was
like, wow, man, wow. And So, and
I had to go to a liquor store and order a hypnotic that night.
Yeah. Wow.
I went into work the next day. I was so hungover.
But
I'm like, Bray Wyatt died, don't ask.
Yeah, he was one of these. He was one of these people that was becoming a household name too. He really was. He was on his way. All right, Christine Saucy Girl says, "Even in all, Laura, good to see you."
Hi.
All right, Jackie Owens in the building.
Jackie, what's going
SWA
on?
promoter. Jackie Owens in the building. Hello, guys. What's going on, Jackie? Good to
Jackie?
see you. All right, Ray Underwood said, I remember seeing Hogan in Rocky 3 in 1982, then seeing him come to WWE in 1983. Yes, sir. When
that
he
was the year I was born, 83.
Oh, okay, wow. I was in 83. I was in 10th grade, I guess, something like that.
Yeah.
So you was a little bit baby. I was like, let me see the baby.
80s babies age gracefully. I'm telling you.
I hear you. All right. Ray said, I remember seeing Hogan. Okay, got that one. But yeah, and that was the start of it, man. I was like, somebody need to capitalize on that. All I saw was greatness after that. But hey, first time I saw Hogan was in 1979. So, when I was in 5th grade, that's the first time I saw him. And I was like, hey, he was special. Classy Freddie Blassie was his manager. I was like, he was special. And, he was...
Harry was one of them pencil neck geeks, boy. You one of them pencil neck geeks, boy.
Hey, I liked him better then than I did later on when he became this good guy. I just thought he was... I thought more of his talent shown as a heel. He put in more work than he did as the champion. All he had to do as the champion was kick you in the gut, punch you a couple times. You go down and he gonna hit you with a leg drop. That was it.
It was so believable at the time. Like,
oh yeah, there's no doubt.
It's amazing. It's amazing how everything has transcended over time.
Yeah,
because it didn't take a lot back then. Now it's like they got to work as hard because of the crowd done got smarter, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think they do. These guys and girls do a wonderful job at it.
Oh, they do. They do. Only thing I really have with that, the problem with that is they overproduce it too much, and it started with a lot of the false finishes as far as the they just continued on and pretty much broke. They broke what a finisher, the finishing move. They pretty much broke out of that, and it didn't become a finisher anymore. You had to work your opponents to death, like use the Anderson brothers or something like that before you finish them off. And the Anderson brothers,
I think people kick out of finishers too much.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think that would be my biggest gripe, and then all these dang ads we see everywhere. Slim Jim Snickers on the table. Do we really need that?
That is horrible.
Yeah.
If
it's this time of day and age in wrestling or in business in general, if there's a penny to be made, everybody wants it.
That's exactly right.
Don't care where the penny coming from. That's
true. Ray said, and what happened? And what helped Hogan was being in the Rocky movie. Yes, it did. It shot him. I mean, Rocky. Everybody was going out to see the Rocky movies back then, and it just shot him into a different atmosphere. And Chris knows.
He fought that meatball, boy. He fought that meatball.
Yeah. But everybody went to the movie theater because the movie theater was like MTV back then. But everybody didn't have access to it. Hey, everybody wanted to go out to the movie.
Speaking of the movie theater, not to cut you off. Speaking of the movie theater, how about SummerSlam is going to be in the theaters this year, man?
Oh, wow!
I heard that.
They actually are going to be showing it here in town at the Hollywood 20 both nights. They got a package where you can get 2 tickets and a SummerSlam T-shirt for $65. So you get 2 tickets for both nights. And a T-shirt for $65 for both nights.
Well, we know the T-shirt's half of it.
You can't podcast there, Chris.
I know, right?
I wish they would. Cody Gibbs says been blasting Real American all day, but we can do it probably out in the lobby. I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt it. But we can talk to people as they go in. I think that would be pretty cool. Christine said he was a true legend and will be missed. Yes. Big time true legend. All right, Cody Gibbs says, can't wait to shake Hogan's hand in heaven. Yes, and that's another thing too. Christopher Burton called me earlier today because I had forgot about it. I remember he did get baptized and he got saved. And Chris said he's happy that Hogan did give his life to the Lord. And hey, that right there, just it. Hey, the Lord forgives you. Whatever wrongs he did, the Lord forgives you. I forgive you, straight up.
Exactly.
But yeah, that right there was that's one of the greatest things I was out of all this that I heard today. Let's see. Cody says, can't wait to shake Hogan's hand in heaven. Yeah, and Christine says it's been all over the different news stations. Yes, it has been. Yes, it has today.
Yeah,
sure has. All right, Ray says we lost Malcolm, then Ozzy, now Hulkster. All three will be missed. Yes.
Well, they say death coming threes, man.
We are not okay after
Ozzy,
all this.
First Malcolm Jamal Warner, then Ozzy Osbourne, which I was really shocked because Malcolm Jamal Warner was enough, and then I seen that it was Chris. I was talking to Chris, and Chris like, oh my gosh, Chris was at work. He was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to laugh at this earlier, but how they say death comes in threes, and after it was posted that Hogan passed away, somebody said he really was the third man after all. I was like,
oh my God.
I didn't mean to laugh, but the irony of that was just so funny.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, he sure is.
But yeah, I was like, Chris, what's going on? Chris was like flabbergasted because it took him a couple seconds to answer me. And then Chris said, Malcolm Jamal Warner died. And I was like, man, you kidding? I had such a hard time.
That hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I was joking with Harry too about Ozzy. Yeah. I was like, man, see, if Ozzy would have kept doing drugs, he would still been alive. Them drugs was keeping Ozzy alive, man.
I'm telling you, look, Keith Richards is outliving all of them.
Yes, he is. Yeah. And man, that stunned me like crazy. And hey, being a musician, I'm around a lot of different musicians. Ozzy came through back in the 80s when I was a DJ. He came through. He came through the Palladium up in Fountain Inn, up where you up in your stomping grounds now, Chris. When I was a DJ there, when a lot of different rockers used to come through, a lot of different artists, would come through, and when we would have those, we would do those parties, and I used to DJ those parties for him. But man, that was he was a pretty cool dude. He really was. Even though a lot of us younger people, we was kind of like nervous about him because back at that time he was fighting the heads off of bats and everything like that.
Did y'all see? If I come across it again, I might send it to the both of y'all on TikTok. Trick Daddy was talking about Ozzy in an interview, and because in his hit "Let's Go," they sampled "Crazy Train," and that ended up being Trick Daddy's biggest hit. And he was talking about that. But yeah, I saw that on TikTok today. I'll probably send it to y'all later.
Yeah, it was a good one that I saw today. Him and one of his last interviews, one of his last episodes, he was with Flavor Flav. And Flavor, had holding his hand, and Ozzy barely could really get his sentences together, but that was pretty special there, and the Flavor was talking about how much he admires him.
At his last concert too, I hated to say it. I knew it was coming because he looked so bad to me. Like he did not look good. I told Mom, I said it wasn't going to be long. So when we heard of that yesterday, I was like, well, Dad's going to enjoy his concert tonight.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, there was I don't know if y'all heard the story about what Ozzy did at one of his friends' pool party, man. There was a bunch of rock stars back in the 80s, man, and it was crazy back then. Drugs, sex, and women, that was the MO back in the 80s with rock stars.
Big time.
They were at one of the rock stars' pool parties, and he was actually giving the interview, and he told the story. He was like, yeah, man, everybody and anybody was at my house, drinking, drugs, the usual. And one of them did a line of booger sugar, probably about that long. It was like just snorted up like it was nothing. And he was like, yeah, I'm the man. And Ozzy was like, that ain't nothing. And he was like, what you gonna do to beat that, Ozzy? And he said Ozzy was looking around the pool and everything, looking around. He was like, I found it. Ozzy got on his hands and knees. He said if he wasn't there, he wouldn't have believed it. If he didn't see it himself, he said he wouldn't have believed it. Ozzy got on his hands and knees and snorted a line of ants off the ground.
Oh my gosh, man! Oh my gosh!
He said if he wasn't there, he wouldn't have believed it himself. And
Oh
Ozzy
my
got up
god!
smiling like, and Ozzy was like smiling like, yeah, now you beat that.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that is
I was
crazy.
like, I was like, that sounds like an Ozzy story.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. All right, Christine said 1983. I was graduating from college. Yeah. Oh wow. Alma Clark says, this really hit me hard for a lot of reasons. Yeah, Alma, she hit me up earlier about that, gave me a call. I didn't get back to you, Alma. Pro wrestling was and still is my getaway from all the things that went on in my life, being victim of discrimination,
Yes.
bullying, drugs, all the
Very.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hero
And,
4.
and
Yeah.
Alma, that's a lot of people's escapes, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Wrestling,
it's
definitely.
a lot of people lose themselves in wrestling to just decompress,
Oh
from
yeah.
the
Oh
day
yeah.
and life in general. Just lose
Yeah, it's
yourself,
it's
in
an
the moment,
escape.
man.
Yeah, a lot of these wrestlers become personal to people, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons that they get so upset, and that was one of the main things that happened to Vince McMahon was the impact of he was a victim of his own success. It was the impact of his stars, man. He had so many of them because he didn't have when he had the territories when all that stuff was going on. You did not have to grab everything that was out there. Out there. These you had a lot of these guys who could be stars in other places. They didn't all have to be in the World Wrestling Federation or in WCW. Jim Crockett Promotions. They could be in Memphis and be a star down there. Just in the Tennessee area. They could
Mm-hmm.
be in. They could be up in Missouri and be a star in Harley Race's and yeah, Harley Race's place, or you could be down in Louisiana and be a star down in Mid South. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
so everybody had their little niche. They had a niche. Even when Terry Taylor, he went through that Red Rooster thing, and everybody said it ruined him. But he went down to the UWF. He was in the mid South area and became a star again down in Louisiana and won that World Television Championship. And then went over to WCW, which he lost it. Then he lost it to Sting or whoever it was, but he lost it. He had lost it, but he became a star again. So it was places for people to go. Now these wrestlers, now they only got two places to go, and that's AEW or the WWE. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
TNA, and who else you got? You have TNA
AEW.
and WWE.
New
You have
Japan would be
Oh yeah,
considered.
New Japan. Yeah,
MLW.
New Japan.
But if you want to
And,
be
and the women have stardom. That's been kind of
right,
growing.
Yes,
right,
Stardom. Yeah, I forgot about
but
Stardom.
There's been little promotions that have been
yeah,
gaining
yeah,
a
it is.
little notoriety.
But the thing about the territories back then, you could be in a territory and be a household name. You had guys that was in territories; they was household names across the country because they would go from territory to territory. Like
The
Chief, like
ter- yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
Roddy Piper. He was a star before he got to the World Wrestling Federation. He was in Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions. Before that,
Hmm.
he was a star in Portland, Oregon. He was a star down in Los Angeles. Los Angeles first, then Oregon. Then he came down to the Carolinas and Tennessee. He was a star, and then he went up to Georgia Championship Wrestling. He was a star, and then uh, Vince McMahon plucked him. He was, Vince McMahon, Junkyard Dog was a huge star
I
before Vince
was
got him.
watching
But
some of the
Vince
tales of
elevated
the
him.
territories, and it's amazing the stories that they tell and how
Oh yeah,
different things
yeah.
were. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It was a
territories are
different
really,
time
really
back then for
special.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was. When the Freebirds was coming to a territory, like they left Georgia, they was going to world class. Everybody in Texas knew they was coming. These
Hmm.
already huge stars. So that was the thing about the territories. That was what was so good about the territories. Now, I mean, if somebody come from a indie, if you don't have a big time podcast or somebody that's really pushing them and telling them that they going over to another indie or whatever, you guys need to watch out for them. Nobody's gonna know who they are.
Hmm.
Just,
Hmm.
where the ball bounces.
Yeah, but yeah, getting back to Hogan though, man.
Oh yes.
But getting back to him, man. Like I said, 80, 83, 84, when he beat Sheik for the title. That was my first induction of Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania. That was my thing.
Right.
You beat the Iron Sheik. Um, And and I remember on Saturdays staying up all hours of the night waiting for a Saturday night main event to show up. Come on. I'm like, okay, it's Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live about to go off. Okay, it's going off. Okay, Saturday night main event, come on. Saturday night main event, come on. Then a few hours later, they playing the national anthem. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. But not knowing that it wasn't on every Saturday. It was like
Right.
every other month or something like
Oh
that
yeah.
they would come on. But that was the only true time I really got to see WWE. Because like I said, Harry, they weren't broadcasting down here like that. You had to
But
catch them on certain times.
well, you had to have USA, and not everybody had cable or everybody's system, because we had back then. They had telecable in Greenville, where I was living. I was living up in Simpsonville, the suburb of Greenville. Simpsonville, we had charter. We had charter cable, and I used to catch USA. I used to catch USA back then. Back in,
and we had
I started
we
watching.
had charter too back when I was because I think by then they had taken over by the time I was watching it.
Yeah, around 86, 84, 85, 86, I think they took over all of Greenville basically. But yeah, you probably you maybe you didn't know that they was on USA. I don't know if you and your mom had cable at that time, but a lot of people did not have cable. A lot of people just had broadcast TV.
Oh yeah, cable was hard to come by back in the day.
Yeah. If you had cable, you could catch them on USA in the Greenville area, and they was on USA. I think there was channel. What channel? I can't remember. I think there was 21 or 21 at the time, 25 or something like that. Yeah. But they was on USA, and I would watch them. I started watching them when Bob Backlund was the world champion, even though I was watching them before that because my friend had one of those huge satellites like they have up at the WYFL TV, Chris. Everybody.
Oh yeah, we actually have one in our. We actually have one at my mom's house.
Oh wow! But
it was there when we bought it.
Really?
Yeah. Them things.
It's cool.
Man, you get channels all over the world back then, and the channels were free.
I remember the days. I remember.
Yeah, you didn't have the direct TVs back then. You did not have a dish network.
Yeah.
The channels was free, and you had the cable companies complained about everybody getting those channels free, and the government regulated Dish Network and these companies that came up. It was a lot of them. It wasn't just DirecTV and Dish Network, and they came and they took over that and they started charging people. But you could get like up to 3,000 channels around the world, man, back then. But we would watch all the wrestling all over the place. I would go over to my friend's house, man, and we just be watching wrestling all day long because you could pick up everybody. So we was picking up everybody in the country, all the territories. So back in 1982, I was able to pick up even before 82, 81, 80, 79, I was picking up all the territories. That's when I got to see Bruno Sammartino, Superstar Billy Graham, and up in Florida seeing Dusty and Jack and Jerry Briscoe Hardy Race out in Kansas. So I wasn't just watching the Carolinas and Virginia, Jim Crockett Promotions. And of course, Georgia Championship Wrestling was on WTBS, the Superstation. That went all over the nation. But I was able to see Vince McMahon Sr. Vince McMahon Sr.'s WWF, and I love that World Wrestling Federation. And the first time, like I said, I saw Hogan was in '79. He was in Florida, and Hiro Matsuda trained him, and he was.
And everybody heard the story about when, back then when Hogan was getting trained.
Yeah,
wrestling was like the mafia. You heard about it, but you didn't know how to get in it. Mm-hmm. And then if you got in it, they really wanted to see if you wanted to be in it.
Yeah, they wasn't. They did not tell you that. Hey, this stuff is predetermined. We ain't, that we're not trying to kill you or anything like that. They didn't tell you that. They let you get in there. They let you train. You started training.
And they found that, and you didn't find that out till later, maybe years into your career. You're like,
exactly.
Oh, this is what this is supposed to be. Oh, okay.
They will actually beat you. They will beat on you to see how much you can take, and see if you come back the next week or come back the next couple of days to continue your training. And
Matsuda broke Hogan's shin.
Yes,
broke his shin. Posted it and broke his shin the first day of training.
Yeah,
and he was like, "You gonna come back?" And Hogan said he came back like a dummy, but he said I came back.
And you know what? You know the reason that these guys came back, Chris? Most of them. I'm gonna tell you, the majority of wrestlers back in the day, they came back. If you didn't come back, that guy that was training you, a lot of them, they would go to your house. They would go to your house and pull you out of that bed till you definitely coming back. Vern Gagne went to Ric Flair's house to get him. So
you didn't mess with him either.
No. I mean
that old man was something serious, boy.
Yes, he was. But this is the reason they used to come back, Chris. I had a friend who I used to work with at Hardy, and he had to pay. It was the pay $6,000 because I used to follow Fabulous Moolah back in the day, and because she has her school up in Columbia. That was the closest school to Greenville at the time, up in Columbia, South Carolina. And Fabulous Moolah, I knew it cost $6,000 to train to be in her wrestling school. Back when I was in middle school, that's when I first found that out, and had it in a wrestling magazine. Then I found out Ray Gotch, and then a lot of these other guys, their training schools, and it was all between $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to train. Yeah. But basically $6,000, and you had to pay that up front before you train.
Yeah.
Up front. So that money, once you got up all that money and you done paid that money, and they beating the living crap out of you, you're like,
and
okay.
Then if you quit, you ain't getting it back.
You're not getting that back. Exactly. So these guys didn't go to police.
Choose wisely.
So a lot of these guys decided, hey, I'm gonna go back, and then they found out later on that, hey, we just wanted to see how long you was gonna stick in there. We beat the living crap out of you. You was able to stick in there because look, once you do that to somebody, what do you get? They beating loyalty into you, Chris, because you're gonna keep the secrets. You're gonna keep the secrets of how that happened, because if these guys done beat the crap out of you, done broke your leg or broke your arm or something like that, say if you go in there and then you find out that it's predetermined, these guys are gonna come after you. You're not gonna go out there and start spilling secrets and everything like that. So I believe it was a reason that they did it. Yeah. But Hulk Hogan, Hulk he was tough, man. He got his leg broke and he went back, and of course he's a big guy, but I'm sure he didn't think he could mess with that Hiro Matsuda.
Well, I mean, he was like, Hogan was like, man, he literally got in there and Hogan in his prime, in his younger years, he was probably about 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, 6'6".
Yeah, 6'6", 300 plus pounds.
Yeah,
he was a big solid boy.
Yeah.
And and Hero, obviously Hero was a midget compared to Hogan.
Yeah.
Back then. But Hero knew how to break you down.
Oh yeah.
So, like I was saying, man. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so have y'all like actually seen him in person? Like not like meeting him, but have y'all been to a show and he's been there?
Mm-hmm.
Hogan, yeah. Oh yeah.
It was the first Nitro.
What would be your favorite memory of that?
Monday Nitro. Yeah,
I was surprised. I knew he tan, but the man, when he came out, he was orange.
Yeah.
When was it?
This was, what year was that?
1996.
1996. The first Nitro, when Ric Flair came back and he came to Greenville, and he was obviously in the NWO then. He had this thing going on with the Ultimate Warrior, and then he came back again at another Nitro when he did a return.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually gone off air for a while, and he saw the response that Flair got for his return. So he was like, I know I'm a big star, and I might be a little bit bigger than Flair. So let's go back. Let's go back to Greenville for my return and see if I get the same reaction. Okay, the place was packed, yes, but he did not get that same reaction that Flair did.
That's funny.
I mean, Flair's reaction, when Flair did his return, they were cheering before he even got on the mic for like 20 minutes straight.
Yeah,
before he even touched the mic.
It was crazy. That was the most explosive return I ever seen. CM Punk's return, when CM Punk returned to wrestling when he was at AEW, that was close. That was basically almost the same type of deal. But That's the closest thing I ever seen to it.
But when Hogan came back, he got a loud, he got a loud pop and everything, but it was nothing like that.
Right.
Not here, not in Greenville. That wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, for Hogan.
What about you, Terry? Was yours different?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I saw him was in '84. That was at Furman. Chris, remember they came to Furman? I don't know if you remember because you was probably.
I remember when they came to the auditorium.
Yeah, they did come to the auditorium one time too. I didn't go to that. I was like, it's not even worth it.
I wanted to go to that.
They did not draw in. They didn't draw in Furman. I mean, they had a couple thousand people at Furman. But first time I seen him, he wasn't tanning like that. I mean, he was tanning, but he wasn't tanning where he was turning orange. But he was I met him. I shook his hand.
Oh,
big
okay,
dude.
Cool.
Yeah, big dude. Pretty cool. He was I was able to go to the back because that's back in the day when we would go to the back to see the wrestlers or whatever. And I was one of the first ones, and he came out there, and wasn't a lot of people out there. And he was like, "What's going on, man?" He's like, "Glad you came out and everything." And he's, he was cool. He said, "I appreciate that, brother." He wasn't a good guy at that time. Well, actually, he was a good guy at that time. Well, I mean, he wasn't a bad guy. He was a good guy at that time. He said, "Glad you came out, brother." And he said, he's out the next time, because they had 2 dates. He had another date that was coming to Furman, and he said, and then they was gonna have a date in Greenville at the auditorium. He said, "I hope you come out to the next shows that we do here." He said, "I definitely appreciate your support," and that was it. But yeah, it's cool, pretty cool dude.
Yeah. I guess I'll share mine. So I started going to live shows in 2005. So I don't think I seen him for the first time until WrestleMania 30.
Okay.
If I seen him before then, I don't remember.
Right.
My memory's not as good as it used to be. Watch my bestie would be like, "Yeah, we did." Oh, maybe not, but so I went to WrestleMania 30, and of course he opened the show, and every man in there, every grown man in there was 10 years old again.
Yeah.
And everybody was just singing it like they were just, it was a really cool moment. And, that was the moment where it was him, Stone Cold, and The Rock in the ring together for the first and only time, which was really good. The guy beside me was singing Real American, being the 10-year-old boy, and then I turned into the 13-year-old girl when The Rock came out.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
I grabbed his arm and fell to the floor like,
Yeah. The first time I saw The Rock, I didn't even scream or holler or nothing. I was just watching every movement he made, man, when he ran to the ring.
He commands.
I was just watching.
Anywhere he goes, he commands his presence. He really does.
Yeah, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't screaming. I wasn't caught up in the moment. I was just watching every little movement that he did. I was studying him, and everybody's just going crazy. And I'm just watching. Just, But
everybody was picking on him when he said Silverdome instead of Superdome. That was funny.
Yeah, that was kind of.
That was a really cool moment, and I remember telling several people that night because I met a few friends online, and we actually met up with a group that we met online.
Nice.
We're not friends no more, but anyway.
Okay, that's another story.
But there was more friends than that. But I remember telling several friends that night, I was like, "You're never going to see that again. There's no way." And I was right. Because I was like, that was like the perfect. To me, that was the perfect time, WrestleMania 30, because it really was a big deal. I think I would have liked if John Cena was in that too, considering, but
he was in the crowd. He was in the crowd.
Yeah. He was backstage.
Wasn't that the one he wrestled Undertaker?
He faced Bray that year.
Okay. I couldn't remember that one. Or...
Yeah, that was good. And then WWE capitalized on NWO versus DX at WrestleMania 31. I was there for that. I kept.
You was in San Fran?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And that went way better than New Orleans, by the way. But anyways, yeah, when DX came out, because they were going against Sting, Triple H going against Sting. My friend Jerry, she's like, "Oh, they're going to bring the NWO out. They're going to bring it." I said, "They ain't going to bring the NWO out." No, they did, and I turned 14 again. I was in my vibe, like,
oh
yeah.
man, that's awesome.
Like I was a DX girl, but NWO was something serious too. It
Oh
was.
yeah.
I got a really, really good response, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hogan didn't he didn't go with Kevin Nash and them to WrestleCon. I don't know. He might have went to WWE Access at the time. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was there. I know he was there when Roman was there the same night when last time I saw Roman.
Okay.
I don't know where he was after that, but he didn't travel with them to WrestleCon. But
Oh wow.
yeah, so that was really cool. So I got to see some really cool moments.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I
Yeah,
mean, so
because I mean Hogan. Now I would say this, and I told Harry, I don't care what you thought about Hogan as a person, even though because of his political views, because of what he slipped up and said, or the sex tape, or any of that mess. You know,
I forgot about that, but
yeah. You cannot deny that man the impact that he's not just made on wrestling but pop culture.
oh
You
yeah,
cannot deny that man that. You cannot. I
like
don't care.
I said earlier, he was a household name. Like everybody
Yeah.
knew him. Even I knew
oh
him
yeah,
before I started watching wrestling.
And
I mean,
today, actually on my break today at work, one of my coworkers, she just graduated college maybe about a year or 2 years ago. She's not really big into wrestling, but she knew Hulk Hogan. And I was joking when I was like, I was like, I keep losing a piece of my childhood. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, one of my childhood icons died. She's like, who? I told her, I was like, Hulk Hogan. She's like, wait, what, huh? What? I was like, Hulk Hogan. And she looked like she literally saw a ghost. She was like, huh? What? She was like, say that again. I was like, Hulk Hogan. She's like, Hulk Hogan what? I was like, Hulk Hogan died. She's like, no. She's like, you mistaken.
Right.
No. I was like, no, he died. She's like, and she got speechless for about 40 seconds. She was like, couldn't get a word. She's like, I don't watch wrestling, but the wrestlers I do know, he is the major one I know. And she was like, it ain't possible. It ain't possible. I'm like, yeah, Hogan died. And I mean, it was, yeah.
let's go ahead and get some comments, Chris, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
I'm gonna
definitely.
talk a little bit about Hulk Hogan. Really get into it.
All
All
right.
right, Mag says after Hogan was in the Rocky 3 movie, he teamed up again with Mr. T on an episode of A-Team. Those were fun times. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
He's probably talking about his mama right now with Hogan.
All right, Christine Saucy Girl says Chuck Mangione. Yeah.
I was about to say,
Yes.
Michael passed away today too. Yeah, man, Christopher Byrne was talking about that too. But yeah,
Yeah.
that right there was kind of shocking too.
Yeah, just a few days ago, Connie Francis passed away.
Oh gosh, wow.
Yeah, she was 87.
Yeah.
Her
was
one of her
84.
songs made a resurgence on TikTok. She when I was in school in choir in high school, we actually did "Where the Boys Are." And,
Okay.
Yeah, we
Nice,
actually
nice.
sang "Where the Boys Are," and she really had a good voice, and I was very surprised. They created an account just so she could thank everybody for getting into her music again. So that was nice to see
Oh
before
yes,
she
yeah,
passed
no
away.
doubt. Okay,
Nice.
wow. All right, Christine
Nice.
said they found out that Annie Burrell's death was suicidal.
That hurts my feelings.
Was a suicide. Wow.
I really liked her. She had personality in the kitchen. Like she'll throw stuff away. Thank you for coming.
Go ahead, Chris.
But it goes to show
Yeah.
you never know.
Almost says Ric Flair was tearing up on TMZ this morning. Yes, he was, man. It's all over TikTok. Truly feel for him since they shared the road together. For the longest, I hope Flair family wake up to this divine wake up to get their life together. Yeah. Flair, man, everybody thought that Flair would go before Hogan because Flair's had so many health issues, the cancer scares, the intestinal problems, and all that, man.
He keeps getting in the ring too. It's like, sit your butt down somewhere.
Yeah, that last match, his retirement match, man, that made me sick to my stomach, man. I couldn't watch that. Me and Harry watched it.
I don't even really want to talk about it right now, man, because if something happens to Flair, because I mean, it just makes me think something's gonna happen to Flair. I don't want that to happen, man. I'll flip out, man. I will go nuts. I'll lose it, boy. I'll lose it if something happens to Flair. I mean, oh man, I know he's gonna pass away one day. You know, we all are, but goodness sake,
yeah.
Yeah,
you're just never ready. You're never ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Alma said, right with his family, colleagues, and with God and Jesus before it's too late. His death has gone down today. Prayers going up. Be 90. All right. Ray says, you know, Ozzy would eat 30. 30 pink lady apples a day. His wife and daughter confirmed this. Wow. Tell you what, apple a day. He will add 30 apples a day.
Exactly, boy.
All right,
man, blood sugar go all over the place, man. I did something like that, man. Even though that's natural sugar, shoot, man, that junk have you be a diabetes.
Yeah, I snacked on a cookie before I came on here, and I shouldn't have.
Yeah, man, wow. Richard Hood, what's up, man? Richard said, what's up, Chris and Harry?
What's going on? Right. What's going on?
Exactly, Richard. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Yes, sir. Richard says Vince would pick guys out of various territories when they were the top star and drawing money. Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
That's what it's all about.
That was the strategy.
Yeah. If you wasn't a territory that was, if you wasn't a territory that was well established and had at least 3 stars that backed up that star, like you had some territories that will have like 1 star, and they might have 1 tag team that was stars in that. The reason that Jim Crockett Promotions didn't shut down is because Jim Crockett Promotion had multiple stars. I mean, he had more stars in his territory than the World Wrestling Federation had, than Vince had. Even Vince at his top moment in the 80s didn't have as many stars as Crockett. Crockett had Nikita Koloff. He had Magnum TA. He had the Nature Boy Ric Flair. He had Sting. He had Magnum. He had Tully Blanchard. He had Arn Anderson. He had, and that's just half of it. He had everybody. Barry Windham. He had all the stars. And anytime Vince was able to pluck one of these stars, within 6 months to a year, they'll be back over in Crockett Promotions. Crockett knew how to run territory, but most
they
of
knew the door was always open.
Yeah, most of these territories, like Georgia Championship Wrestling, he went in and he just plucked everybody out of Georgia Championship Wrestling. He went into Memphis, he plucked everybody out. AWA, he decimated the AWA. He got Mean Gene Okerlund from AWA. He got Bobby Heenan from the AWA. Jesse the Body Ventura. He got Hulk Hogan, Adrian Adonis. He just pretty much shredded them.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you didn't have a good, I don't know, your territory had to be strong enough to where these guys were getting paid some major bucks to be able to keep their players. Because Vince McMahon had unlimited money, especially when he got that $1 million from Crockett. After Crockett bought that WTBS slot back from him. All right, Richard Hood says, guys, what was the first wrestling show on the USA Network? Man, goodness sake, was it Southwest Championship Wrestling?
I have no idea.
The Milwaukee with me would have said Raw, but
that's a long time ago.
I was gonna say All American.
Yeah, see, I don't know all those.
Could have been Main Event, but it definitely was not Raw.
Main Event was on NBC.
It was on Saturdays. It was on Saturdays, but that was on USA though. That was on USA.
I do like the fact that they bring them Saturday night's Main Event every other month.
It started out on USA, Chris. I don't know where it went from there, but it started out on
NBC. Yeah, it went to NBC.
I do like that they brought it back.
But
it's a good thing.
Southwest Championship Wrestling. I'm not sure, Richard. You gonna have to chime in on that, man. I am not sure which one was the first one.
GPT, they might know. Them or Google.
Yeah. All right. Alma said, I remember trying to sneak into my parents' bedroom to watch HBO Cinemax, Showtime, especially on Saturdays, to see the good movies in it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see them squiggly lines, see what's in between them squiggly lines on them blurred channels.
And then Alma was like, what in the world's going on? But what's going on? But guys are trying to get these women and stuff like that. A lot of teenage stuff went down back in the day on those.
Man, I tell you, them blurred channels where you trying to figure out the picture on them squiggly lines on your TV. You're like, what is this? What's yeah.
Well, I was watching all of them. I'm a little bit older than Alma, so I was watching all of them. I was like 17, 18. I had all the channels. So I was watching all that stuff. All right, Richard said Hero broke Hogan's ankle. Yes, he did.
Yep.
All right, Nancy, what's going on? Nancy say, hey, guys, so sad about Hogan. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, Richard said Hogan put something on Vern one time and put him in a front face lock. Okay.
Man.
I'm surprised Vern didn't reverse that. All right, Richard said the first time I saw Hogan was on GCW in 1979 at Sterling Gardens. That's the first year I saw
Sterling
him.
Golden, yeah.
Sterling Goldens, okay, Sterling Golden. But the first time I saw him was in 79 in Florida. Let's see. Alma Clark said, I remember him in AWA wrestling years ago. Yes, I remember watching. I used to watch him in AWA. Mike Ennis, Greg Gagne, Nick Botwinkle, Scott Hall. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Scott Hall, Magnum TA wannabe.
Yeah, but that Roman Reigns thing, man, that was pretty smooth there. Alma Clark said All American Wrestling and AWA Wrestling. Yes. All right. But yeah, Richard, come back and tell us that the first wrestling show that was on USA. I say it was Southwest Championship Wrestling, Tully Blanchard's dad's organization, but I could be wrong. But I remember when that was out for a while on USA, but I might be wrong on that.
But yeah, Hogan's legacy, man. Hogan's legacy will always.
What would y'all consider your favorite Hulk Hogan moment of all time?
Oh,
your favorite moment. Don't matter if it's live, TV. What is your favorite Hogan moment?
God almighty.
I'll tell you mine.
You go ahead. I got to think about mine.
Well, mine was when Kane impersonated him with the Canaanites. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a big Hogan fan, but I appreciated what he did. But that was hilarious.
Yeah,
especially because The Rock was like
Canaanites. Yeah,
that was my favorite moment when Kane impersonated him because you didn't see it coming.
No, that was hilarious.
All right, I'm gonna go with Thunder Lips, the Ultimate Male, man. Look,
hair fighting meatballs, boy. You
man,
fighting
Thunder
meatballs.
Lips, the Ultimate Male in Rocky 3. That was the most incredible Hulk Hogan moment that I ever seen. And then the week after that, when he came back, after he did the Rocky 3 movie, he came back and he was in the WWF with Vince Sr. and he was on Monday night. He was on the Monday night. It wasn't called Monday Night Raw. They used to come on it every Monday night. This was before they called it Monday Night Raw. But in 1983, I think he, 82, because it was the year that he did Rocky 3. He came back. He still was a bad guy. Freddie Blassie had him on the show, and he was taking on Tony Guerrero. And he had his cape out and everything like that. He was acting just like he did on Rocky 3, man. That was incredible. That was the best moment. But then they put him in he beat Tony Guerrero, and that started the feud with him and Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas had went up there, they had plucked him out of Georgia. And the feud and they had started the feud. Who had the best body? Because Hogan was talking about those 23-inch pythons he had.
It was 24, man. It was 24. Get it right.
24. Get it right. He was talking all that stuff that, he was this and he was that. And Tony Atlas came out there and, introduced him as Mr. USA. And those two got into a feud. They started fighting. and that was great, and that was the best feud that I ever seen Hogan in. Which Atlas did come out on top, and that's when like I told you, Atlas the only person I seen actually beat him in a feud. Nick Botwinkle gave him a good feud over in AWA too, but they never would put that title on Hogan except for that one time he won. Then they took it back off of him, but that was a good feud too. But that and the first time that he had to face King Kong Bundy, that was a great moment. And
I remember that.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania.
Yeah, remember the Zeus moment, Chris? When that right there was a great moment.
When I tell you,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, that messed me up because you know what? Matter of fact, you just reminded me, Harry. On Tubi, I believe it should still be on there. On Tubi is Hogan's movie.
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred is on Tubi.
Okay.
And after I get off here, I'm gonna go and watch it.
Right.
Because I know that whole movie by heart, just about. Because I actually went to the movies to go see it. That's how much I was into Hogan. But anyway, so when I saw that movie and seeing Zeus, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what if this dude was a wrestler? You know, I'm like, Hogan would be in some serious trouble. And then a couple of months later, that Joker showed up. Man,
that was the greatest thing ever.
and Lord, you got to go back and look at this. Hogan hit that Joker with the chair about 5 times, and that Joker didn't flinch. I was like, oh God, Hogan, run, you gonna die. I'm like, you gonna die, run. Man, that was amazing.
You're like, well, if I were you.
That was outstanding. And you know, I knew Tiny Lister had played in the movie. But you know, he came in there as Zeus, and me already knowing he's an actor, but this how good wrestling was as far as building their characters and everything back then. I automatically looked at him as Zeus. I didn't think about him as the actor or anything. I just looked at him as Zeus. And man, that look that Hulk Hogan had after Hulk Hogan hit it with that chair. And you know, and Zeus and Tiny Lister was bigger than Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was like he was looking over. And I couldn't stand Hulk Hogan anyway. I couldn't stand him at that time, man. Because look, I used to love Hulk Hogan when he was a heel, when he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
When he first came into wrestling, 79 up until 82, 83, when after he did the movie, after he did the movie, he became like a little bit later, he became a bad guy, went over to AWA, and Hulkamania actually started in AWA. It didn't start over in Vince didn't start that. It started with AWA. Hulkamania was already running wild. But when he went to New York and did it, it just went over the top because the AWA still had all those old wrestlers and everything. They still had the Vern Gagne's Butcher, you know, Crusher and Bruiser, Mad Dog Son. They still had all those old guys, man. And Nick Botwinkle, they still was ruling the roost. And they, you know, they was in their 40s and 50s, and they was pretty much telling Hulk Hogan, hey, it ain't your time yet. It ain't your time yet. But everybody was coming out to see Hogan. They was selling every arena. The Hulkamania already had started. Vince was able to get him and capitalize on that. We'll talk about that later next. I want to talk about that next. Who do you think, Chris? That's the next thing we're going to talk. Back then, who could have pulled it off? But we'll get into that.
Back then?
Let's go. Yeah, back then. But let's go ahead and get into these comments, man. Where we at on the comments?
Where are we on the comments, man? Hold on. Golly, hold on.
Got finished with Armor, okay? All right, Reggie said, "What's good? What's good, bros?
What's good, Reggie? What's happening? Welcome in, Reggie."
All right, Reggie says, "What's good, everyone? Good to see you, Reggie." Armor says, "I googled it. WWF All American Wrestling. Okay, yeah, that's the first thing I seen on there. Yeah, that was in 82.
I remember when the American Gladiators was on USA during the day.
Yes,
man, that was my show. I was so excited when I got out of school. Like when we were out of school, be like, yeah, we're gonna watch American Gladiators.
And that's what I told Chris. I said the last Monday night Raw that came to Greenville, in May. I told Chris, and it started. I said, Chris, this reminds me of American Gladiators. I hate to say that, It would look like American Gladiators. I'm like, there's a problem here, Chris. I said, it don't look like wrestling. I said, it looked like American Gladiators. It did. And
I actually
weeks
got.
after that, every time I looked at Monday Night Raw, everywhere they went looked like American Gladiators. But now it just looked like basically they're going off of commercials. So
Right.
it kind of like went away from that. But now it's so many commercials, you pretty much focus on that. But they went away from a lot of the
I was gonna say.
The pyrotechnics,
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Raw a lot different now?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It's like the right before they come on the air, they give you a video package on the Titantron, and they have like laser streams all over the place. It's wild.
Those laser streams what remind me of American Gladiators, man.
I got you. Okay, that's where you got that from.
Yeah, I tried to videotape it, man, but my phone wasn't acting right. But it was cool. It was a good little hype show for about 10, 15 minutes before we got on the air and everything.
I got you. My best friend, she surprised me with tickets to SmackDown at the end of May.
I'm ready to go back to SmackDown. I'm ready for SmackDown to come back.
So you going down?
And I was there when the Wyatts returned. They got a huge pop. The arena there is practically new. Opened in 22 or 23, I think.
Okay.
It looks so huge, but it's not that big.
Yeah, it looks huge.
Yeah, and it really. State Farm is bigger, obviously, but but very state of art, really clean, nice.
Because that was University of Savannah State, right?
Yeah, Savannah State.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
It's actually on the next to last exit before Interstate 16 ends. It was very easy to get to, and like I said, it was very, very nice.
That's good.
It held a lot of people. It was sold out. Everybody was loud the entire night. And then I got to go to Evolution. I got lucky with these kind of events.
Yes, you did.
But God,
I didn't even know you got to go to Evolution. I was like, holy cow! She's at Evolution.
Actually,
I'm like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and they went down in ticket prices, and then the section I got, they closed it off, so they gave us a complimentary ticket.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So
nice. You need to get that laminated.
I know, right? I know. So me and my nephew got to go. So I basically got to take him for his birthday. Late birthday present, because I'm not working right now, and so he's 17. He's at that age. He was very excited to go see All Women.
Oh, I'm sure.
Of course.
Yeah. He was talking about proposing to Stephanie Vaquer, and I'm like, okay, Alex.
All right, Maestro said, "What's that smell? What's going on, Maestro Reggie Jackson? What's that smell? No holds barred.
Hey, that's the line, man. That's the line. If you go back and look at that movie, that line, that was the funniest line. It was so funny because he was leaving the scene was set up. He was going to talk to some TV producers because they wanted to produce the show and they wanted him to be the star. And he basically ripped it up and shoved it down the contract down the producer's throat, and he left. So he gets in the limo. He's like, "Hey, take me back to the neighborhood gym or whatever." And the driver's looking back at him like, "Yeah." And he's just riding, right? He's just riding. Next thing you know, Hogan's like, "Hey, you just passed the street. What are you doing?" And the guy's like, He's like, "Come on, man. You just passed the street. Turn around. Make the next left or whatever." And then he put up the metal divider. It was a metal divider. And Hogan's like, "What? Hey, what you doing?" And then he locked the doors and everything and all this, and he started driving erratic to this like abandoned warehouse. Well, the whole time, Hogan's in the back trying to kick the door. And you see dents coming out the outside of the limo from him kicking the door, trying to get out the door. So they end up going to this abandoned warehouse. And Hogan busts out the sunroof. Yeah, busts out the sunroof on top of the limo and everything. And there's like 30 guys. He beats them all up. And then it's so funny. He walks and the limo driver, is locked himself in the car, right? He's a little geeky looking joke. He's like, all scared. And Hogan's like, rah, rah, rah. And Hogan comes around and rips the driver's door off, the limo. And Hogan and the guy, and here the poor limo driver, he's like,
I've seen the movie, man. You don't need to tell me that. I know the movie.
And it's so funny because he jacked the dude up. He jacked the guy up. And he's just like snarling them like and then the camera pans to the driver's pants. It's just a wet dookie stain. and Hogan's holding him there. Hogan's got the driver jacked up, and Hogan's like, "What's that smell?" And the driver's like, "Dookie."
Yeah, that was the iconic part of that movie that's lasted that everybody really remembers.
Stuff, man. Classic stuff.
All right, my man Malcom says Hulk Hogan is running wild in heaven right now. Tiny Zeus and Hogan together again. Yes, sir. Let's see where we at, man. I want to.
Maestro Facebook.
All right, Reggie Maestro, don't forget about Rockin' Wrestling. Yes,
the cartoon, man. The cartoon. I need to find that whole DVD collection somewhere. Somebody's got it. I gotta get it, man. That was an awesome cartoon.
Oh gosh, I couldn't stand that cartoon. But hey,
man, you couldn't stand WWF back then, anyway, man.
Hey, look, no, I give them credit. I used to watch WWF because they had. Remember, it had so many stars from the territories. I had to watch it. Because I was big fans of a lot of the guys. Rick Martel, I was a huge fan of his territories. I was a huge fan of Tony Atlas. I was a huge fan of Tito Santana. I was a huge fan of a lot of these guys Bret Hart, man. A lot of these guys who came from the territory. I was huge fans of them. So of course I would watch it, Paul Warndorf, Jimmy Snuka, they came out of the territories. So of course I watched it. But was I a fan of the World Wrestling Federation? No. But I did like Vince McMahon. I used to like Vince McMahon back in the day. I thought he was a very good hype man.
That'll be somebody else people are conflicted by when that day comes.
Oh, Vince. Oh, my Lord. Vince. Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be crazy.
Reggie, I need to know what you do for work.
I don't know if you're gonna get this much love, but people will respect what he did for the business. But I just don't know how people are going to take it. But he will get a lot of love. That's all it is to it. But wow, that's going to be something too. I'm going to Crown Jewel. Maestro Reggie Jackson said, as well as Clash in Paris and SummerSlam. Okay, all right.
That's what I said. I need to know what he does for work.
Oh yeah. The real JMG says, hello, what's going on, JMG? You in the building, my man. All right, Ray says,
what's going on, JMG?
Yeah, one of my best memories of Hulkster wrestled at Cincinnati Gardens, October 31st, 1984. It was Hulk Hogan with Andre the Giant versus King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. Loved this match. Oh gosh, wow, that'd be incredible.
None of them are with us anymore either. Wow.
God, it had to be incredible matchup. But yeah, all of them are gone now. All of them wrestling.
I love the fact when they did house shows, we would go when we go to house shows, other fans would tell us about the territory days. I live in Georgia, so I was hearing stories about the Omni.
The Omni in Atlanta. That was
Omni, and then Macon was another big city that they went to. And Albany as well, and people will be telling me about the Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair matches they saw and how incredible it was. And I'm damn, I wish I was there.
They had a Macon heavyweight champion. The Macon heavyweight champion.
Macon Cineplex, it's still there. I can see NXT being there.
Yeah,
I would like for them to film there. That'd be good. I would go and I would enjoy it.
But yeah, one thing I wanted to get into, Chris, which I was going to talk about a little bit earlier. I was going to go online myself when you was at work, but man, who back in that time do you think? Because Hulk Hogan was Vince's first choice. That was his first choice. But he said if he didn't get Hulk Hogan, this is who he had on. He had Magnum TA was his second choice. If he couldn't get Magnum TA, he wanted Dusty Rhodes. That was his third choice. Ric Flair was his fourth choice, and it was somebody else who was his fifth choice. I forgot who was his fifth choice, but he had those are the guys that he had on his list. But even you can add somebody else in there too. Do you think anybody back at that time could have pulled that off? Now, because if Vince would have Hulk Hogan,
Dusty, hands down,
but
Dusty.
Do you think Dusty could have pulled it off to that level?
To that level, no.
Yeah. Because the way I see it now, Magnum, he would have got Magnum TA. That was his second choice. Magnum was very popular in Jim Crockett Promotions, Mid Atlantic, Jim Crockett Promotions, which became WCW. He was very popular with the ladies. Now the guys loved him. We loved his physicality in the ring, and he used to hit that belly to belly suplex. And
I think Magnum could have been a big star for sure.
He would have been.
That's one of those sad stories. Like
yes,
I hate it for him.
It is. But he wouldn't have been able to pull that off with the kids. Like Hulk Hogan was able to capture the whole family dynamic with that. Take your vitamins. What is it, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers.
All that stuff. Yeah. He was able to capture a whole family. I just don't see. I don't see how Dusty wrote. Well, maybe Dusty probably could have pulled that off doing it that way. Magnum, I don't think so. Magnum,
he probably would have been like this. Let me tell you something here. I want you to say your prayers, okay? and now I want you to take your vitamins, okay?
and let's see, and of course Nature Boy wouldn't have did that.
Oh no.
He would have wanted Nature Boy would have picked up a whole different dynamic.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking he was figuring all these guys in, and he had of course he had Macho Man Randy Savage, coming in and going to be using him in that same kind of like scenario. Yeah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan when he was out in Memphis where he pulled him from, Hacksaw Jim Duggan in Mid-South, he was a tough guy, man.
I'm telling you, I was watching when I was watching the DVD Legends of Mid-South Wrestling.
Right.
Oh my God. I love those. Like, that was my first time seeing that kind of stuff from him. I was like, I didn't know he was like this.
Yeah.
This is cool.
See, that's one thing. That's the reason why when people who went crazy for Hogan at 84, 85, when he started running that stick, say your prayers and take your vitamins and everything. And the reason I didn't get into him, because, at that time, what was 85? I was 17, 18 years old. And I'm remembering the old Hulk Hogan, Chris. The guy that guy that we saw on Rocky, that was the Hulk Hogan in 79, 80, 81 in wrestling. That's how he acted. That's how he was. And I'm remembering that guy, and I'm just looking at him. I'm like, you fake piece of crap,
Just say your prayers, Jack. You got it.
Yeah. If I knew the gig, like it is today, all this stuff is predetermined and all that. Hey, if I believe, of course, people used to say that back then. Some people would say that, but of course, the majority of people didn't believe it. The majority of people didn't believe it was fake. It was only a certain amount of people would say that it was fake, it wasn't real, or whatever. So when Hulk Hogan did that, I'm like, I was pretty mad. I was pretty upset at him. Not that I thought he was faking. I'm thinking the whole time that he's going to turn on all these fans. That he's that he's not who he's acting out to be or whatever. But he kept it going for a long time, for years. But I'm like, this guy ain't real. This guy can't stand people. He is a menace to society, and that's where I looked at him. And then when he brought Hacksaw Jim Duggan up there, Hacksaw Jim Duggan with this doggone 2x4 ho and all that stuff, man, and doing all the stuff that he was doing, I'm like, this dude you talking about a serious beast, Chris. This guy was a beast, man. He was a man. He was a killer, man. This Joker was Killer Kawaki, man, Killer Khan. He was Angelo Moscow. He was Bruiser Brody. He was Abdullah Butcher. That's the type of dude Hacksaw Jim Duggan was. And I'm like, this guy up there acting like he loved the kids, and he's all patriotic and everything, man. I'm just like, wow, man, where in the world does this guy come from? So I was looking at that as phony too. I'm like, he's gonna turn his back on these fans, and I know they was making a bunch of money. I understood that he was making a bunch of money. So I was like, that's the reason that these guys are acting like that, because they making a bunch of money. They turned and did that, and I'm like, but that's not their real personality.
Of course.
I said that's not their real personality. Because I said these are some mean guys, and even people like Honky Tonk Man and Coco Beware, these guys was tougher than leather, and they came up there and they was all running a look, running a gimmick, man. And I was like, what in the world is this? So it was kind of, but yeah, let me get back to that, which we was talking about the guys, man, who probably could have pulled that off. In my opinion, nobody back then, man, could have pulled off what Hogan was able to pull off. I don't. Of course, in the World Wrestling Federation, they didn't already have the guys that could do it. Ivan Putski couldn't have did it. Pedro Morales couldn't have did it. Bob Backlund definitely couldn't have did it. They, even Bruno couldn't have did that.
Bob Backlund was one of those I never really understood.
Yeah, Bob Backlund was a strange character, man. I couldn't get into
even when
Bob
I
Backlund,
started watching, like, I didn't get him, and I didn't get him before then either. Like, I was like, y'all could have at least had Roman break his record.
Well,
for the days, number of days he held the title.
He sold that thing out every night, every Monday night. He sold out. He sold out. Well, he sold out the
Wrestling Square.
Different strokes for different folks, but I just didn't get them.
I didn't get him either, man.
Washington Capitol Center, because they would come on USA.
The Spectrum in Phoenix, Philadelphia.
Yeah, on Fridays they would be at Washington Capitol Center, or the Spectrum in Philadelphia, or the Boston Gardens at Boston.
Boston Gardens.
He would sell it out every time. And look, I really didn't understand Bob Backlund. He had Arnold Scaling as his manager. Arnold Scaling was with Bruno Sammartino, so I kind of get that. But Bob Backlund didn't have a lot of personality or anything. He was a pure wrestler. That's all he was. And he basically was pushed on people, but he was able to hold off a lot of guys that were just incredible. I mean, just incredible superstars. Jimmy Snooker was incredible talent.
I was going to say too, that's something we need to see more of too, is managers, because we have a lot of guys that could make it that really don't have a mouthpiece, and just select guys that don't have a mouthpiece. I mean, that's not fair. That's not fair to them. I mean, that was something I wanted to do, was be like a valet/wrestling manager.
Yeah, Claudio Castagnoli, I think he could be a great champion. He could be world champion over there in AEW.
Easy.
I think he's doing fine with the Death Riders, even though I can't stand them as Death Riders.
He is, but I don't think they're maximizing his full potential. I think the guy like that.
The Death Riders is boring. Yeah, and y'all know I love me some Knox.
Yeah, put a suit on this dude, Claudio Castagnoli.
But it looks like they're about to kick Wheeler Yuta out, which I'm glad, because I love Wheeler Yuta, and I think he could do a whole lot better.
Yeah. And give this guy. Yeah, just all I say, give this guy a manager, give him a valet, and somebody that can talk. And man, he will be a superstar. He got so much talent. But hey, it is what it is. But man, as far as going back to that with the World Wrestling Federation, I tell you somebody who probably could have pulled something off similar, Chris. Now, he didn't have the body. Now, at one time he did. And he was called Handsome. He was called Handsome at this time. Who am I talking about? He was called Handsome.
Boogie Woogie Man.
He used to be in the World Wrestling Federation at one time. Him as a tag team champion with Luscious Johnny Valiant. They was the Valiant brothers. But Jimmy Valiant as the Boogie Woogie Man. Jimmy Valiant, that joker sold out everywhere he went. I don't care. They would put him as, he would be on the C card, Chris, and his undercard of they would put the A card. The A card for Jim Crockett was Ric Flair in the championship match, Arn and Tully versus the Rock and Roll Express. You would have, and then underneath that, they would have the Midnight Express against Ron Bass and Black Bart, and under that match they will have they will have like a TV championship match, a Stunning Steve Austin versus Stunning Steve against maybe Johnny Weaver or Paul Jones or somebody like that. Pistol Pez Wally will be on that, and then you have the B card, the Midnight Express. The B card would have somebody like Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes headlining that one, and they will have Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes on the same card. But then on the third one, they will have all the basically jobbers or the very low mid carders. But the guy who will headline those shows will be Jimmy Valiant. And Jimmy Valiant was sold out. Wherever they went, they sold it out. And Jimmy Valiant would be the headliner. It would be Jimmy Valiant versus Mass Superstar, or Jimmy Valiant versus Josh LaDuke or something like that. It would be basically these low name guys against Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Danny Brown or the Italian Stallion, and that will be the main event. That would be they see shows. See, that's one thing. Jim Crockett will run 3 shows a night. He will run a show up in Roanoke, Virginia. He'll run a show in Greensboro Coliseum, and he'll run one in Greenville, South Carolina on the same night. And that'll be the C show. Like sometimes we get the C show, sometimes we got the A show. But we get the C show. Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant will be the main event. And everything that was underneath that, you would have Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev probably be the second match or whatever. Be the co-main event. Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev would go up against. I'm talking about, go up against. They would go up against Ron Simmons and maybe Ron Simmons and Rocky King would be their opponent. But Jimmy Valiant was the main event, and he was not a main event star. But
no, he was not.
They sold that thing out. It was just, you talking about, they should have called that Boogie Woogie Man Mania. It was incredible.
Because he would main event here on Christmas, man. On Christmas Day, he would main event, man. And I'm like, Boogie Woogie Man is the what on Christmas?
Main event, and we'll pack it out. It was incredible. It was something to see, Laura. If you would have saw that, it would have blew your mind. But
I bet, yeah.
But that's the only other one that I can really say that probably could have rivaled it, because kids all the way to adults, everybody loved this guy. But
I have a question too. Like I probably, maybe I'm wrong, but like behind Hulk Hogan in terms of charisma and drawing like families in, particularly kids, I always thought Macho Man was right behind him. Where would he fall in with that to y'all?
Macho Man was when Macho Man became a fan favorite, but I think people still didn't trust him.
Exactly.
I think the second.
Macho was.
I think the second best.
Another one that was a household name before I got into it, so that's why I was asking, because I was like,
he was huge.
Macho Man, is there something I don't know?
At that time, he was the second biggest name in the business.
Right? Yeah.
Second biggest name in the business.
Kind of like Stone Cold and The Rock.
What's it now?
Exactly.
Kind of like Stone Cold and The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. But he
it's your number one and your number two. John Cena, Randy Orton. Now you got let's say Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, or I don't know how they do it now.
Yeah, well, even all the names that you just mentioned, one thing about them, they're great and they're superstars, and they could be even bigger, but they are not household names. They're wrestling household names. If you're a wrestling fan, if you somebody who's really affiliated with people who are into wrestling, you know who these people are because of your friends, maybe. But as far as everybody out here knowing them, just like just a whole conglomerate of people like that's knowing Hulk Hogan, you're just not going to get that with today's wrestlers.
Right.
And it's a shame. It is really a shame that it's like that, because these guys, this era of wrestling right now, to me, could be better than the 90s. I'm talking about the early 90s, like 90 to 95. Era is the 4 years, I say, I'm going to go 91 to 95. Me and Chris been doing a straight up wrestling show for 4 years. The way I look at it, this era right now should rank at that same level that their era was ranking, because they definitely
they're definitely in the process of rebuilding for sure.
Yeah, they definitely have the talent. The talent is there to match what was going on at that time. But
I like the fact I love seeing the Miz is taking a different element because he's more like a manager for Carmelo Hayes now.
Yeah,
and then you see Randy having fun in the ring, and just little things like that. And now with Seth out of commission for a while, you got this big tag match with Roman and Jay versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. That's huge for them. Like, they're definitely building it. And I want to mention too household names. For the women, it's not, the women don't have that much as far as that goes. That's why the thing with the Bellas was so big. I mean, you had the whole thing with Sable in 98, 99. I think it was 1999 with the sexual harassment lawsuit. But you really didn't know much about the women's wrestling until the Bellas really started putting themselves out there. Total Divas was really a big hit, and the Bellas were the standout because they're twins. They're beautiful. So like I never really liked the Bellas all that much. I thought Brie was the better wrestler, but the fact that the Bellas was able to bring attention to women's wrestling, that says a lot. That says a lot as well. So they definitely have a hand in bringing that to the forefront. I mean, it's like you said with wrestling household names. You got your Lita, your Trish, Alundra Blaze,
but today, in today's climate, today's wrestling, what we have as far as the most popular females since we've been doing this thing, to me, is Bianca Belair. Now that's talking about putting over somebody, and making them household names. She was coming very close to that. A lot of people know.
I definitely think she can. I think she can very well pass that because she does a lot of appearances.
Yes,
I love seeing the kids dress like her. It don't matter if they're black or white. They're just. I love it. I can't say I didn't see anything with AJ. I have, but I haven't. I really started seeing it with Bianca because Bianca actually has gear, whereas it looked like AJ just was your like average, chick wearing t-shirt and jean shorts, But Bianca gets over very well with the kids.
Yeah, and that's the thing in my opinion is you got to capture that. As far as in wrestling today, it doesn't matter what platform, and I'm talking about AEW, WWE, whoever it is. When you have that kind of talent, you have to capture that. And she's one of these people that was just capturing the general public's imagination. So you never need somebody like that. And the same thing with Cody Rhodes and how Cody Rhodes. That's the reason why when Chris was doing that little thing, the chase, and we talking about the chase, and Chris kept doing podcasts talking about the chase. Cody Rhodes, and it doesn't matter that because Dusty is his dad, and I know a lot of people outside of wrestling is interested in him because Dusty Rhodes. They be like, Cody Rhodes, is that Dusty's son? And because a lot of people know who Dusty is, you got to take advantage of things like that and say, okay, wait a minute, hey, Cody is bringing eyes. He's putting eyes on a product that we normally don't have. So when you
and the thing too is when Cody started the whole All In / AEW thing,
right?
You knew he came prepared. Like he had something lined up to watch before the pay-per-view because he did his research. Like he's like this. He had a pre-show on WGN. It was a family-friendly network, brought in a lot of people. He was smart. Smart. So I know Dusty taught him a lot of things, and I wish I wish Dusty was alive to have seen AEW for what it's become. Is it perfect by any means? No, but I love the fact that people can go to another wrestling promotion now and do stuff on their own. I think somebody that WWE dropped the ball on 100%. Number one is Swerve Strickland. They dropped the ball on him. And he is a massive star in AEW now, and I'm happy for him.
Well, I just don't. I don't think people really understand what it takes to build a star today. I mean, if you would have played Russian roulette the way that they played Russian roulette,
I'll be right back, guys.
Think about it. Okay, if they would have did that with Hulk Hogan back in the day, and not let him be a long-term champion, there's no way in the world he would have got to the status that he became. Because back then, a champion, you had to treat a champion just like a dynasty in another sport. Like, say, the Dallas Cowboys used to be a dynasty in football. Pittsburgh Steelers, San Francisco 49ers, these guys won multiple Super Bowls back to back. Look, I don't care for none of those teams, but I'm just saying, over in, the Celtics, they was a dynasty. The Lakers, they was dynasties back in the 70s and 80s. And
Hogan was, obviously Hogan was unstoppable. That's why he held the title all those days,
Yeah, you had to treat your wrestlers the same. That's one thing about Americans. Americans love dynasties. But now we have got a culture now that they put titles on people and people say, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You really don't deserve anything unless you work for it and, you was able to work for it and actually get it. Now, like I said, I know it's predetermined and everything, but you got to have bookers. You got to have promoters and bookers to be able to look at a guy and watch his matches, because it's all about talent. But that talent has to have, and when I'm talking about talent, I'm talking about overall talent, not just ring ability, because there's a lot of guys who can wrestle in the ring but can't talk on the mic. If they can't talk on the mic, you still can have a guy who's the champion who doesn't really know how to talk, but you give him a great manager. Get him somebody that really can talk and really talk him up and put them out.
A good example of that would be back in NXT when Andrade was in NXT and he has Selena Vega as his mouthpiece.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, you got to do that, and that's another person who they done dropped the ball on. Andrade could be a great champion. I mean,
AEW dropped the ball on him too. I was very, very disappointed. Just give him a great mouthpiece, and he, you have a star.
Yeah, big time. But
I think isn't he in the U.S. Was he in the U.S. title run?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. But I think they pretty much done fell off of it. I'm not sure, because he had that little thing going with Carmelo Hayes there for a while.
But, I like the fact that they focused on the best of 7 series with them too.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a great idea, because they don't do that anymore. I love seeing a best of 5, best of 7.
Oh yeah.
Because it just shows you really don't have to put too much into it, but you can have a little concentration on 2 guys that you really don't have nothing for. But who's better in the ring? Who can do this? Who can do that? I mean, problem solved. They don't do it enough.
Yeah, they used to have that all the time back in the day. It's you really
I remember it was Booker T and
Chris Benoit.
Thank you. I thought it was him. Yeah, they had like a really good best of 7 series.
Yeah, that one. The outside of the one Magnum TA, just before you. I mean, you of course you was born, but you was young. Magnum TA versus Nikita Koloff. That's the best one I've seen, and the second best one I've seen, and I saw a lot of, from the 70s and 80s. The second best one I saw was Chris Benoit, Booker T. That thing was incredible. It might be better than Nikita and
when we were talking about household names a while ago, I meant to mention too, Ronda Rousey really did a lot for notoriety for women. She played a big hand in them having their first main event WrestleMania. There's only been 2, but yeah, when Ronda Rousey went to WWE, there was a lot of eyes going
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
she brought some fans in. I mean, so when somebody of that nature comes in, they're they're going to have fans that are going to follow, check it out. They might stay with it, they might not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime you have an opportunity like that, you got to take full advantage of it. And like once again,
Yeah,
it's
I mean, I
all
got it, but it kind of was like,
yeah.
you know.
It's all up to the promotion, and it's up to the bookers. I mean, the way you book everything, you got to come off. You have got to come off. You have got to make your mark when you have those type of opportunities. And one thing about Hulk Hogan, one thing I liked about him, I liked him more as far as before he got to WCW, because before he got to WCW, he was doing what Vince wanted him to do, what George Scott wanted him to do. As you know, George Scott was the booker over there, and then
I
Jerry,
gotcha.
and he basically was doing what they wanted him to do, because one thing about these wrestlers, and me and Chris, what we have come to learn, one thing about wrestlers will come to you and tell you, man, I want to do this. Me and this guy, we've been talking. We want to do this. We want to do that in the ring, and they come up with all kind of crazy ideas. And you just got to be strong enough to just tell them no. You don't want to tell these guys no, because a lot of times they're great guys. A lot of these guys, these guys and these women out here wrestling, they are great people, and I know they want to get their stuff in, but a lot of times they think the fans are going to go for it, but a lot of the things that they come up with just flat out crazy. And because one thing we have found out is a lot of these wrestlers, after their match is over with, they just up and leave. They wrestle their match, they up and leave, and they go to another show. They don't watch the whole show. They will come up to the bookers, people that's running the show, ask you what you think about my match, what you think about my match, or whatever, and you tell them what they think about the match, and man, they going off to another show. I probably only, out of all the people that we've been around, and me and Chris have been around hundreds, maybe a couple thousand guys. We've been in 23 different promotions, not little territories, little indie promotions. We done been to 20, and so we've seen a lot of wrestlers. And I say maybe 15 to 20% of these wrestlers stick around and watch the whole show. Never have wrestlers stick around and watch the whole show. So they like to come in, they will film, or some of these guys will film their own match, or like I said, they will come to you and ask you how was the match. They don't stay.
I used to do it for a couple of guys back in the day, but I'm too opinionated and ran my mouth too much.
Yeah.
Needless to say, they stopped asking me.
Oh wow. But yeah,
I didn't mean it.
But yeah, they would not stay and watch it. So what gets to me is a lot of these guys, they will run for 10, 15 years, 20 years, and then after they finish, they think the experience that they had as a wrestler qualifies them to run shows.
Right.
And they go in and they know how the basics, how everything is run, how everything is set up to run a show, but they were so busy into their own stuff that they get to the point where they don't understand what the fans actually want in wrestling. And now that's the reason we have a lot of the things that we have now is everybody wants to, hey man, I have guys call me and say, Harry, is contact not contacts, but is thumbtacks gonna be, is that okay for this match? Harry, is it okay for blood to be in this match? Harry, is it okay if we cuss on the mic? All kind of crazy things. So I just don't know. It's totally different from what Hulk Hogan, back in the day, what Hulk Hogan did. Randy Macho Man Savage. You speaking of Savage, and Savage, he was incredible. But I think the second, outside of Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about somebody who was already there. Because Valiant, he was in Crockett Promotions, but the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
The Ultimate Warrior. And now he capsulated the fans. He capsulated the fans the same as Hogan.
He was right up there too. I'm so glad you mentioned him.
He did not hold them as long, but for that brief moment, he had the same impact as Hogan did. You know, everybody, the whole, you know, their kids, everybody's kids was into him, and the whole family got into him. And you know, he was actually more muscular, defined
Oh yeah.
Hulk
Oh
Hogan.
yeah.
And
He was somewhat like a superhero too.
yeah, he was. So that right there is probably a guy who could have carried it. I don't think he could have carried it because he couldn't talk. He definitely couldn't talk. You know, he just, you know. But as far as
I'm telling you, at the Hall of Fame, he couldn't stop talking to save himself. Literally, like
right,
I was there, and I was just like, dude, we love you, but you got to wrap it up.
exactly.
We got meet and greets to go in the morning, and sure enough, like that next morning, we got there, and the first ones was Mox and Roman. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully Chris will come back soon because yeah, there's Chris. But yeah, that's one I want to talk about. But yeah, Chris, I just thought about this. You know, I think he would have been able to do it before. I mean, probably a little bit better than Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, but not as long though. The Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior is the only other person I've really seen that captured everything in the WWE as far as that whole crowd.
Yeah, Hogan actually said he was the first one to notice it too. When he bust on the scene, he was like, "Oh wow!" He's like, I see the wave, I see the shift, and he's like, I see how they respond to this guy, even though his matches ain't long worth nothing.
Yeah,
but I see how it's going. I see how this thing's going to jump off. And
that whole weekend, in New Orleans was really special. He got to have his speech. Then he had his farewell speech on Raw, and he died the next day. Yeah, because I came back. I came back home that Tuesday, and I knew nothing about it. And I got home, and I think it was about an hour later, my dad came over, and he was like, "The Ultimate Warrior died. Didn't you just see him?" I'm like, "What? What? What do you mean? I just seen him last night." It was crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Whew.
Wow. But
it's kind of one of those happy endings.
Yeah. Because at the time, Ultimate Warrior was real popular, Chris. There was another guy that was his partner in the Blade Runners that was very popular over in WCW. What do you think about Sting, that version of Sting? If Sting was there now he definitely would have been popular over in World Wrestling Federation. And he actually could talk.
Yeah, he would have been able to do something. He would have been a big star over there, obviously.
I don't know if he would have.
I don't know if he would have been as big because Ultimate Warrior definitely had more charisma than Sting. That's the crazy thing.
Well, he had more charisma as far as going out there in the ring and doing that. Sting, not as far as on the mic. Sting had more charisma on the mic than Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
Ultimate Warrior had more charisma as far as a look, as far as the big splash going out there.
The presence.
You know, so it would have, but Sting probably could. That's another one. So I'm about to throw Ultimate Warrior, and I will throw Ultimate Warrior in there. I'll throw Sting and Jimmy Valiant, but I'm gonna throw Ultimate Warrior second. Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant.
So we're doing the list now of who would have replaced Hogan. Is that what we're doing now?
Who could have came close to what Hogan was able to achieve? Now Hogan, I don't think nobody could have did it as long as Hogan did.
No.
Now Ultimate Warrior did it for a while because he just had it, man. Just boom, boom, boom. You know,
he kind of fell in the same category as Hogan in terms of superhero believability.
Yeah,
you know, he couldn't talk worth a damn, but you know he could. I mean, just by his actions and stuff, he could pump the crowd up non-verbally.
Now, Flair said he was a flash in the pan, and when you think about it, he was right. He was a flash in the pan when you look back at it in hindsight.
He definitely was a once in a lifetime talent too. It's just fit for that time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I hate how he fell downhill, but like I said, he got his redemption story before he passed away. So
think of Macho Man now. If Macho Man would have went up there and started out like he did as a when he became a baby, when he became a fan favorite. If he would have started out that way as a fan favorite instead of a heel, what do you think he would have been able to do with that? Would he been able to carry it like that? Because he just, everybody was into that. Oh yeah, everybody was into all that stuff.
Right, everybody knew about that.
Yeah.
So he actually started out as a heel, and then
yeah, he was a heel. And people hated him. I don't think people ever got over that match with him and Steamboat. If you ask me, Chris.
Yeah, that
gotcha.
After that, I just thought he was the most vicious guy. I mean, he did not look like Bruiser Brody. He did not look like the missing link. He didn't look like Abdullah the Butcher. None of those guys. The Missouri Mauler. He didn't come off to me like those guys, but he was just vicious, man. And even when he became a fan favorite, I just don't think I could not look at him and really believe it all the way that he was actually.
I think too. Miss Elizabeth had a big part in that.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
It was like the perfect wrestling love story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nothing tops it, unfortunately.
Yeah, wait a minute. What is my man Real MG? I got that. All right. One of my best memories of Hulkster wrestling.
We saw that already.
Yeah, we got that. What in the world? Now I know we got some more comments. Oh my gosh, a whole bunch of comments.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments, man. You've been talking for a while, man.
I mean, I thought I was at the end, man. Like I said,
no,
I'm sorry.
Man, no, they still coming in, man.
All right, man. Go ahead, Chris. You need to catch us up, man.
All right, man. All right. Reggie said I have the whole DVD and VHS set.
Okay.
And Reggie said I know. Shh.
Chris
knows what he does for a living.
Yeah. It's nothing bad. Nothing bad. Just so you just put that out there. Nothing bad.
Chris knows.
All right. Christine said, gonna say goodnight to all. Laura, good to see you. Take care. All. Good night.
Too. Thank you.
Good night, Christine.
All right. Reggie says, I feel so bad for Ric Flair. Yeah.
Yeah, that he was tore up.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah.
DJ Hub said, sort out the audio. What the F?
Oh, okay.
Blaine Vaughn says maybe Macho could have done it, but it was Hogan.
Yep.
Reggie says it was WrestleMania 18, Hogan versus Rock, and No Way Out for Hogan versus Rock 2. All right. Blaine says, well, if Macho was more stable, maybe he could have done it, LOL.
That's true.
Reggie also says the Death Riders are like MK1 right now. Snooze fest.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, MK1, yeah.
Yeah, he's right though, because I normally watch mocks, but as soon as I hear that music, I'm fast forwarding. Like I don't.
Yeah, last night. We did AEW last night, and I was like, man, I hate to say it. I was like, why did we come on for this?
Yeah,
I hate to say it. It was one of those.
I bet that was good. Was good. Hulkster and Orndorff.
Yeah, that was a good match. I mean,
they had some great matches. Yeah, they had some great matches together. Hogan, Orndorff, Ray. Ray also says for Hogan's World Heavyweight Championship. Yep, I remember that. Orlando Connor says Jacob. Orlando says Jacob versus Brock Lesnar. That would be interesting.
I don't think Brock Lesnar is coming back though, but you never know.
No, especially now that his daughter done got married, so I doubt it.
She didn't get married. She's just announced she was in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
I thought she got married. I thought they was in.
Okay.
He was in their suit and all that stuff. They wasn't getting married.
No, they were going out for something.
Okay. I wouldn't marry her if I was that guy.
Be too scared of Brock.
Yeah, boy. Like I say, he messed up, boy.
You got problems, boy. You got problems.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine some of the girls? They bring their boyfriend, and you see people like Randy and like Brock just sitting there,
and people like that. Yeah, man.
As a kid, man, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
And those guys don't have to be like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Bad boys, yeah.
When the guy came in, she brought her boyfriend home and they were showing him guns and talking all this stuff. Don't have to, it won't be like that with those guys. Man. Those guys is huge.
They just gonna sit there and look at you.
Exactly.
Man, Ray said that was Saturday night's main event. What was it, number 8 or number 9?
I think 9.
Yeah, 9. All right. Black Rain says, rest in peace, Hulkster.
Yes, sir. Black Rain 7920. Glad you came in, brother.
Reggie said, even though she got a raw deal, China, rest in peace, definitely helped elevate women's wrestling. Yes, she did.
I agree.
Yes, she did.
I'll tell y'all a quick story. When at Evolution, before the show started, me and Alex could hear the people talking behind us. Bless his heart. They're guest on people who may show up for the show. And there was one kid, like I said, bless his heart. He was like, I hope China shows up. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Who's going to tell him, poor baby?
Yeah, I'm like, buddy, if she shows up, that whole arena gonna clear out if she show up.
I was like, they didn't sit him down and tell him yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we did hear that. Me and Alex looked at each other like, did you hear the same thing we did? You did? I just heard that.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that too. Okay.
Yeah.
My ears play tricks on me, but I felt
parents
that.
must then look at a lot of old.
He's
old
right.
things.
I remember that they tried to push Lex so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Lex at the time. Lex was not built for that because WWE was running so hard, man. They were running so hard.
It was not working. I remember, and I was like, Lex, why in the world did you go up there? Because he was such a huge star in WCW. You know, that's WCW before he got into the Nitro stuff and all that. He was such a huge star, and I'm like, why did you do that?
The Lex Express, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember. WCW. I mean, WWF was bigger at that time. It was bigger, and I can understand. And plus, I think that's one of the reasons. That Vince was able to, get him was Vince was touting that World Wrestling the bodybuilding thing that he had, Chris.
Yeah, IWP or IC or something. Yeah.
Whatever it was. And I thought it was a good idea, but I was just like, Vince, are you sure about this? Because, man, I was just shaking my head. I'm like, not long ago, you came off that steroid scandal. Are you sure that you want to actually do this? And, I think they was trying to get Lex and push him up there and trying to have him as the next Hogan. But Lex just, like you say, he wasn't built for it. He wasn't ready for it. He did not like wrestling like that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And to be that character, what Hulk Hogan was, you got to like children, or you got to be able to make it seem like you love children. Mm-hmm. You got to be that manager in that grocery store who love to speak to the mom and daddy and hug
the kids,
Exactly. And it was crazy because you saw the documentary on Lex, man. They did a doc on Lex, and when he was doing the Lex Express, going across these cities and things across the nation and going to these stores, they said he had the worst attitude ever.
Yeah.
He hated it. Yeah, I mean, as soon as he gets off the bus, he's just like, "Oh my God, why am I here?" It was bad.
It's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
I
don't know what he thought. I don't know what he was thinking. I really don't. Maybe he was thinking, hey, all I got to do is work out, and as long as I look good and I pose, people are gonna be attracted to me.
It only goes so far.
Exactly.
Hulk Hogan had something totally different. He had something totally different. He was willing to, hey, take that picture with mom and dad and that, hug that baby and say, hey, say your prayers.
Eat your vitamins,
You got to be able to do it. You got to be able to do it. That's all it is to it. It's you got to have the whole package. And Lex didn't have that. I'm like, hey, come back to WCW and join the Four Horsemen again.
He eventually did.
Attack people, Exactly. And tell JJ he ain't gonna win the match.
I ain't doing this for JJ.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Before we get out of here, though, Harry, what would you say? What would you say Hogan's legacy would be, from your opinion?
Okay, hold on for a second. Let's make sure we get all the comments.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Okay, so you got all Reggie and all these guys.
Yeah.
Okay, all the way down to Raymond. Who the heck is that? You sure?
I got all of them.
Okay, you got Orlando. I see that. You got everybody. Man, look, he's not gonna go down as the greatest wrestler of all time. He's not gonna do that.
No.
That's done sailed. He's gonna go down as the greatest. He's gonna go down as the most impactful wrestler of all time.
I agree.
When it comes down to it, he is wrestling. As much as Vince McMahon is the guy that people look at as took wrestling into, into a different stratosphere. Hulk Hogan, without Hulk Hogan, he would not have been able to do that. Hulk Hogan got bigger than the company at one time. Mm-hmm. That was just from wrestling. Even though he went to Hollywood, he did not become Rock. He did not become Cena. Not even Batista in Hollywood. He was not that. I mean, he
certainly helped open doors as far as that goes. But Roddy Piper did some movies too. So
he did. Mm-hmm. And I was going to say that. But yeah, Hulk Hogan is remembered for wrestling, but he's remembered as this. Even though he's remembered as this big guy who was body slamming people and finishing them off with, hitting them with that leg drop and things like that. He's most loved and most known. Adults know him because he was being a role model for their children. And everybody, it was family entertainment, and he was pretty much entertaining the whole family, and he was righteous as doing it. That's why so many people just pissed off when he did that at spring break. And the young people, they just couldn't believe it when he had switched. When he did that, because me and Dre had started that, we was doing that, I guess you call it dirt sheets or whatever, but we was doing the writing thing, and we had got pretty popular too. But Dre had stopped it because that time when I had went off on Bret Hart and people got mad at me. But what's people asking us, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Wrestling Central? I can't remember what we call ourselves, but saying what's going on, and we told them because remember we watched every pay-per-view. We watched because Dre had that box. We watched everything, and Dre said Hogan turned, and man, it was thousands of people. They was thousands of people telling us there is no flipping way. People was pissed off, man. Yeah. Like, there's no way. Y'all are lying, man. Y'all are lying. We like, no, we're not. No, we're not. And that's
my first day of high school. People, it was like I was a wrestling insider there. And first day of high school, people coming up to me, can you believe Hogan turned heel? Or turned bad, or because we didn't know the terms back then. Oh yeah. Like, Hogan's a bad guy now. Why? Dude, I don't know.
He had to do it because WCW, if he wouldn't have did it, his legacy would have probably been ruined.
Yeah, because they were starting to go downhill, man. They were starting.
Think about it though. You got to go back and listen to what his speech was in that ring. What Hogan was saying was facts. Hogan said, when I came here, he said, y'all treated me like crap. When he went down, when he had that parade up there in Atlanta,
it was in Orlando.
I mean, Orlando. I mean, he had that parade in Orlando. Man, people, they did not care. That was WCW fans, though. WCW fans was that was the Nature Boy Ric Flair or something like that coming back or whatever. That would have been different. But Hogan said, you WCW fans, y'all treated me like garbage. And that's what he was saying in that thing. But he was right. Some people was cheering for him and things like that. But he did not get that WWE pop. But the World Wrestling Federation, WWE, that had waned too. That already had been waning and it was going down. But when he came to WCW, WCW, how people in WCW, the people that around here, we knew who Hogan was. But that WWF really wasn't our wrestling, so he really didn't grab our hearts.
Attention.
It was.
And I think too, if he didn't turn heel, it's Chris Jericho said it best. You know, it's you have to evolve in wrestling.
Yeah.
You have to evolve, or it's just not going to work. So it was needed. And
yeah, it definitely was needed because a lot of people that didn't like him down south when he turned heel, and see, we was already familiar with the heel Hogan as far as the older fans, the guys that was in Gen X and the older millennials. Maybe I say mostly Gen X, the younger Gen X. Yeah,
this was when the Monday Night Wars was really starting to cook too.
The old Gen X, we first saw him as a heel, and when he turned back to that, when he became Hollywood Hogan, that's the Hogan I remember. That's the not the character, but the whole act, the act of the way he was acting and everything. When he had Classy Freddie Blassie as his manager. That's the Hogan I remembered. And I was like, wow, man, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with this. Even though he had lost a step in the ring, he wasn't as quick as he was before. He looked, you can still, his age and things, his body had started breaking down at that time. But it prolonged his career. It's kind of like Terry Funk, when Terry Funk was in WCW and he attacked Ric Flair, he had already aged. He was not, which I was telling Chris, the Terry Funk that I remember was a technical genius. He was like his brother Dory Funk. He was a technical genius, always a tough guy, incredible wrestler. And, Terry Funk that most people became to know was the ECW Terry Funk. The tough, rugged Terry Funk that would do anything, to go over in the ring. I did not really like him because, like I said, when I first seen him, Terry Funk was a Kurt Angle type dude. He was, he was Kurt Angle. He was Bret Hart, but tougher than them. He would do that stuff, but this guy would hit you with an elbow shot and then start punching and kicking you, and then go back to technical things. He would just, and then he would do the complex technical moves in the ring. He could wrestle anybody. He could wrestle with anybody. He would have with Chad Gable. He would match him hole for hole and then beat the living hell out of him. That's the type of guy he was. He was that incredible. And then next thing you know, he becomes this guy that, hey, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna put some barbed wire around a dang on bat, and I'm gonna knock the hell out of you. That's the type of guy he became. And I just didn't like that Hulk. I didn't like that Terry Funk, but I respected that Terry Funk because he prolonged his career. He was able to get many years out of that. Same thing with Hulk Hogan, with that Hollywood Hulk Hogan gimmick. He was able to revitalize his career and take it a lot longer than what it would have been. And at the end of the NWA, the NWO thing, at the end of that, he was able to go back to the World Wrestling Entertainment, World Wrestling Federation, or whatever you want to call it. He was able to go back to that and become the Hulk Hogan of old. He was able to do that again, and the fans accepted it. So so it very smart, very strategic of how he did things, and he's definitely going to go down as one of the number one figure that ever been in wrestling, the number one figure, because what he was able to do, and you can still feel the impact today of what he did, because wrestling right now would not be in this iteration of, it would not be the same. It would not be the way it's performed today if it wasn't for him. Not saying that he is the one who got people to dive over the top ropes and everything like that. The entertainment factor of wrestling would not be there if it wasn't for him. It would be just basically wrestling.
Yeah. All right. So, Laura, what would your final impression of Hogan? What would you his legacy?
I very much agree with Harry. His impact. You can't deny his impact. I think, definitely the entertainment aspect of it. He was a household name. And so he was the right person at the right time.
Gotcha.
his like I said earlier, his personal life was his downfall. But
that was
but as far as his work in the ring, was he the greatest wrestler? No, but he knew how to get the fans in. He knew how to draw, and Hulk Hogan is a character that nobody's going to forget because, like I said, right place, right time. He had everybody eating out of the palm of his hand. So, I mean, the contributions he made. I don't think anybody else could have did it.
Okay.
For what it is, So.
Gotcha. Now I would say, I think his biggest impact will be just on the world influence that he had, man. The influence on pop culture as a whole. And I know a lot of people say he wasn't the best wrestler, but if you can find it, and I've said it a million times, I'd never seen Hogan wrestle this good in my life. In New Japan, he wrestled Great Muta. It was actually a wrestling match. He was going for Muta for hole. It was kind of awkward seeing Hogan do all that, but it was a beautiful match. If you have a chance, go look it up.
Okay.
But
and see, let me stop you there. But before he became the Hulk Hogan that we saw, and the Hulk Hogan that we saw and everybody loved, that's one of the reasons I didn't like him, Chris, because the Hulk Hogan that I saw before that, the old Hulk Hogan, the young Hulk Hogan that came into business that Freddie Blassie was with and everything, that Hulk Hogan could actually wrestle. That's one of the reasons I liked him better. He could actually wrestle. Now, I'm not saying that he could, he was a Mike Rotundo. I'm not saying that, he was Mike Rotundo. Somebody
he wasn't that good now.
But, Shawn Michaels or somebody, but he could actually wrestle. And, it was mostly, brawling and everything, but he could actually put together moves and everything. So, but when he became the champion up there, like I say, it didn't take much, man. He gonna kick. He wrestled every match like he was wrestling King Kong Bundy. Hey, I'm punching you in the stomach. I'm gonna wear you out. I'm gonna punch. I'm gonna take you, and I'm gonna pop you upside the head. That was his main move, man. He grab back, bam, bam, go you to the rope. Put that big boot up to your face, and then after that, man, you down and you know what was coming next. He run into the rope. He's gonna hit you with that leg drop. That was him, and I knew he had more than that. And that's probably another thing that really ticked me off, and I did not like him. But it was not him. That's what Vince McMahon designed. Vince McMahon had a lot of his wrestlers doing that, and Vince Sr., and he got it from his dad because Vince Sr. was like that too. Bruno Sammartino, he was a punch and kick guy and finish you off with the barrel hook. That's all it was to it. He didn't do much. He did the same thing with Superstar Billy Graham. You saw Superstar Billy Graham over in Florida, and you saw him in the Carolinas when he was wrestling for Crockett. Man, he did so much more stuff. Those guys could actually wrestle. But Hogan could actually wrestle. He did that up in WCW too. In WCW, when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan, he would get in there. Remember, he first wrestled Flair over on WCW Saturday Night. He was wrestling him. It was headlocks. It was it was headlocks. He body slams. He was just pretty much, putting him in the abdominal stretch. He was doing all kind of stuff. He wrestled Flair. If you go back,
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was something different about that Muta match, man. It looked better.
Oh no, of course the Muta match looked good, but in Japan you had to perform like that. Unless you was a big Van Vader type dude, you better been performing like that. That's all it is to it. I mean, the Road Warriors did even more in Japan. The Road Warriors didn't have many moves, but in Japan, if you go back and look at them, they did a lot more moves over there in Japan. That's just how it was in Japan. Japan, remember, if you go back, if you think about it, if you look at wrestlers, they will come back from Japan. Everybody that used to go over and do it, remember, most guys go over and do a 6-week tour in Japan. They will come back and they will have something different. They will have new stuff added to their arsenal. And that's the reason why they used to like to send them to Japan, because Japan they will always up your game. So, that match, he was able to do a lot more in Japan because they was teaching him a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, remember, Hiro Matsuda trained this guy, man. Of course, he's gonna want to wrestle.
Yeah. So, but I say his lasting influence would just be on pop culture as a whole, man. I don't care about his personal life, what he said, what he did, or anything like that, man. It's just his lasting impression on pop culture as a whole, man, because everybody was touched by Hogan or knows about Hogan. This hit everybody, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if you're a wrestling fan or not, man. This impacted you some kind of way. So those are my final thoughts on Hogan.
Yeah, look, you got to put this guy at that time when you first started watching him. You got to put him up there with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson,
right? Yeah,
Dr. J.
That's Michael definitely up for debate.
Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and the football player. He was just as big as any athlete in America. I mean, he was in the world at that time. He was right up there with.
He really transcended, from wrestling to movies, TV shows, action figures, you name it. The impact, his work, contribution, impact, that led to all the things WWE is today with action figures, the bigger, the bigger and better initiative. And I'm pretty sure a lot of guys growing up, I idolized Hulk Hogan. If it wasn't for him, he influenced the generation. I mean, whether it was fans or guys that are in the ring today. So
yeah, no doubt. I mean, everybody around that time, everybody knew who Mike Tyson was, young Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
If you knew Mike Tyson was, you knew who Hulk Hogan was. And, I mean, you just can't say that today about guys, man. But everybody knew who these knew who he was. And then you had people like you said, you had the Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, a lot of these, even Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and all those guys, they was able to capitalize on Hogan's success.
It was the whole larger than life idea, larger than life, heroic, superhero. They were superheroes.
Yeah, Piper and all these guys was able to, all of them owe something to Hulk Hogan because, as much as they say, okay, he was, wanting to take over or didn't want anybody to get his spot. I mean, hey, man, when it boils down to it, could you have done it? The majority of people could not have done it. I don't care how much that machine in New York would have been pushing them. It don't matter. Just because they push you don't mean that you are going to get over like him. I don't, and I'm going to go ahead and use an example today. It does not matter how much the machine tries to push Angel Reese or even my girl from Carolina. What's her name? I can't even think of her. The center from who played at Carolina, who's one of WNBA's best players.
I'm not good with WNBA yet, but South Carolina, my girl Dawn Staley, coaches down there.
Oh yeah, but Caitlin Clark, man, she's it. She's the girl. I mean, you can do everything you can, but she's one of these people like Hogan. Hogan was a Babe Ruth type guy. Just that once in a lifetime player, that once in a lifetime guy that came into the ring that you're not gonna see for a long time. Now, there's a few guys who came up that's been like him. Hey, The Rock was another guy that was like him. Stone Cold Steve Austin was another guy that was like him. But none of these guys, and I say Rock could have did it. That held on to it as long as Hogan, but Rock went to Hollywood and pretty much have set his legacy there more than he has as far as in the ring. Hogan did most of his work in the ring, so that's where his legacy is going to come from. Is mostly because of everything that he did in the ring. So man, big ups to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon gave him the platform to be able to do it on. Gave him room to be able to do it on. So big ups to Vince. But man, hey, Hulk Hogan, can't take nothing away from that man. That man worked hard. He earned every single thing that he got.
He did. Yeah, he did, man. He
So
definitely earned everything, man.
I give him a. I'll give him
That's the
100.
one thing everybody agrees on is
Yeah.
the impact he had on pro wrestling in general. That can't be disputed. So
No, it cannot. It cannot be, man.
Yeah, but
So,
prayers, man. Last thing I got to say is all prayers out to Hulk Hogan's family and all his loved ones. And I mean, he's got millions around the world. People that love him, but the people that actually know him personally, like Ric Flair, love that man, and so many other guys, who's crying over him earlier today.
yeah.
Hey, like I said, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, and man, prayers to all his family and all his loved ones. He will be truly missed, and it's something that we will be talking about for a while. And
yeah, this is definitely not going to be something you're just going to get over with in a few days. That's a doggone sure, man. That's a doggone sure. So, yeah.
But y'all got the floor, man. Whatever else you got. If you've got anything else to say.
No, I'm
good,
man. I pretty much said all my piece, man. And everything, man. So yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to come back on to our show just yet, but
Okay.
I wanted to. Well, I initially planned to come today to talk about Evolution because I went, but then Hulk Hogan died, and I was like, well, that kind of intercedes over all of that. So, so this is kind of like a test run for me. So everything was good, I guess. So yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I can do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we definitely want to thank everybody, man, that came in today, man. And we had a lot of people in today.
Mm-hmm.
All our viewers, man. Straight Up Wrestling Show family. I'm sure we had some friends come over from Peaches and Power Bombs. They came over. And we definitely want to thank our third co-host today, Laura Presley from Peaches and Power Bombs. And you want to let the people know where they can find you at and what do you have going
on? Like I said, I'm not really sure when I'm coming back right now, but Marie, my co-host, does do shows every week, Tailgate Party. And she does that with our other co-host, Ray, all day. And she does shows when she can. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Peaches and Power Bombs. You can find me over to TikTok under Laura Presley.
All right. And like I said, I want to thank you, the viewers that came in, man. Everybody that came in from Alma, Lucas, Ray Underwood, Magnum, Jackie Owens, Christine Sausage Girls, Cody Gibbs, Zach Minger. Who else came in here today, man? Richard Hood came in. Michael Human, Nancy. Who else came in today? My man Reggie Jackson came in. Black Rain, the real JMG came in. Who else? The PC DJ Hub, he came in. Blaine Vaughn came in. Like I said, Black Rain came in. Magnum, and so many others, man. Jackie Owens. Man from SWA down there in East Denali, Georgia. We appreciate all you guys coming in, man. We thank y'all, man. Like Harry said, man, prayers out to the Balea family during this time and all in the wrestling community, man. This just hits everybody. I don't care who you are, what you thought of this man, or how you view this man. You cannot deny his influence on pop culture and the wrestling world as a whole, man. Harry, you got any final words before we get out of here, man?
No, not really. But all I gotta say is, thanks for coming in, checking out Straight Up Wrestling Show and Peaches and Power Bombs. Our lovely guest, Laura Presley. And before you leave out of here, hit that like, share, join if you're on Facebook with Straight Up Wrestling Show, and do the same thing with Peaches and Power Bombs. Definitely hit that like, share, join. And if you're here on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you know we're on like times like these, and do the same thing over on Twitch that you do here on YouTube, and go sign up for Peaches and Power Bombs if you here checking out this stream this first time you've seen a Laura Presley, and sometimes you see Majestic Marie on here. Definitely go and sign up for them. And hey, if you catch us over on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Majestic Marie is over there too. Definitely hit that like, share, tweet, and retweet. And what else, Mr. Burton?
Follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show and Peaches and Power Bombs and Laura Presley and Majestic Marie.
No doubt. But we appreciate everybody coming in, rocking with us, and we'll talk to you guys later. Y'all stay straight up. Peace.
Peace.